Welcome back. On today's episode of The Op, we are going to be discussing watercolor painting, Barry, Hoosiers, the one thing you should never say on set, and of course, is it groceries or is it art? Just a little bit of business before we start. There may be a curse word here or there in this episode, so please listen responsibly. Make sure to check out our website, theop.io, and if you like it, become a member so you can watch the breakdown where operators talk about everything that goes into the making of a shot, and read the musings where we talk about everything from quick tips to larger concepts behind operating. I may or may not take a couple of breaks during this episode, but I promise you none of them will be longer than 22 seconds. If you are enjoying the podcast, please follow us, like us, talk about us, and share us with your friends. So grab a beverage, sit back, and enjoy the op. Thanks for listening.
Lock it up, nice and quiet, and let's roll.
Rolling. Victor 30 Echo, take 2.
Camera, D-Mark.
And camera set. And action.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Op. My name is Dave Comides. I'm your host, and this is basically a podcast where I sit down with great operators or operators that I can find off the street and have a conversation about operating. So today I have a phenomenal camera operator named Don Devine, who is a friend and been working since I think Birth of a Nation was your first film, maybe? No, and
the sequel.
the little scene sequel to Death of a Nation.
30 years later. 50 years later.
I love it. So some of Don's credits, more recently actually, Barry, which I'm going to ask you all sorts of questions about because it's phenomenal. Perry Mason, Mad Men, movie Chef, and actually among other things because your IMDb goes on forever. But you were the camera operator on The Big Picture, which I really want to ask you about because that's one of my favorite movies about filmmaking. But also just throwing it in there, Don won the SOC Camera Operator of the Year Award for Mad Men in 2014 and was nominated for Greyhound, the feature, and Perry Mason, the TV show in 2021. And just recently, this last year, won the SOC Lifetime Achievement Award, which means he's officially old.
Recipient,
sorry.
Yeah,
yes.
I don't want to be a winner anymore.
There you go. But thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So tell me, how long have you been operating? How did you get here? What's your deal?
Oh my God. I have to go way, way back. I can either just deal with the operating part of it or I could deal with the career operating. The career part of it was I got in the business right out of high school as a driver for a post-production company.
Okay.
Part-time. Was driving into Hollywood, which I had no clue logistically of how Hollywood worked. And this was back before GPS. This was back when you had the Thomas Guide.
So it's safe to say you were not good.
I wasn't. I was good because I had good training, and I knew where. Within the first week, I knew where Technicolor was, which maybe nobody knows what that is, but this was like film.
That's
lab.
a lab where you took film.
Where the dinosaurs feed.
Yeah,
it's Technicolor.
It's now a Starbucks.
Deluxe labs, optical houses, anything that dealt with post production because it was a post production house that cut TV commercials. So It was great. There was only a couple of people that worked there, including me. Got to learn how to sync up dailies, which is when you used to have to sync up dailies.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
basically, I'm saying all these things that everybody's going to go, what's he talking about? But it was great. It was great to have the experience of actually touching film.
And smelling it. Remember
and
the smell?
smelling it and just holding it up to the light and have a light box.
That's cool.
And actually, finding when the slate hits and rolling the sound till it...
Yep.
And then you have the sticks, and when you don't, you have to sort of learn how to sync just watching people's lips.
Yep.
So that was fantastic. And a Moviola, which was like a dinosaur of editing back then.
Moviola was the one that you rode the bicycle to turn you had to roll it while you were singing the song, so you got it at the right speed.
That was the Flintstones.
Oh, that was the Flintstones.
That was a car. We probably would have been better off with the Flintstone car than a Moviola.
That's awesome.
And then that was sort of the beginning in the late 70s, sort of the
Steenbeck?
Steenbeck or flatbed editing, I guess.
Steenbeck, or I don't know if they're the same, but yeah.
I've sort of left there, after a couple of years, I was lucky enough to get a production assistant job in another production house that shot TV commercials.
Uh-huh.
And I did that for a couple of years and learned everything. And there was a great camera assistant, Doug Davis, that was on staff, and they had like an Airy 2C, and so I learned how to load magazines there. And I knew coming out of high school that I wanted to get in the film business, and so that was the driving force. I think that helped me immensely the whole way, because I had no clue what I was doing. I mean, I look back at those first 5 years of, which was basically school.
Yeah,
that was college. I just felt like that was 100%, learning on the streets. Yeah, and watching how you did it professionally.
Sure. And screwing up probably, right?
Well, I didn't really get a lot of chances yet. But I saw, I mean, the great thing about commercials is you can see the mistakes right away because you're only dealing with a 30-second or a 60-second. Sure. So you realize, oh, that would have been a nice shot to have here, and so
you mean as you were cutting them, you're saying?
Yeah, almost. Yeah. And I was not cutting, I was observing. Yeah. I did, when I was, I think after a year and a half, the company had a softball team, and this is how I advanced in my career. After a year and a half, is I ran into the assistant editor running for a fly ball and broke his leg.
So this is excellent advice to someone trying to break into the film industry.
Absolutely.
Get on a softball team with people who have big.
Yes.
So and that didn't work out poorly for you, apparently.
No. Then I got to, because I was kind of like going, well, I'm done. I've learned Hollywood. I know the driving thing. I know all the people at these places now. Yeah. I know how to pick up the film and pick up the sound and sync up the dailies. And so now it was like, okay, now you're going to do this for real. Now it's not just the driving. You're going to be doing both. And I felt awful. I mean, I didn't know enough to know that this was like a great opportunity. Yeah. And I would take advantage of it. But every place that I went, of all these places that I knew, would go, where's Carrie? Carrie Kerwin was the camera assistant, or the assistant editor.
That's the person whose leg you broke.
That's the person's leg I broke, and I have no idea where he is right now. Hopefully he's listening. Please don't tell him where I live.
That's fantastic. Now, out of curiosity, do you feel that your career would have advanced faster if you had run into the DP and broken his leg, or?
No, I kind of learned that probably wasn't a great way.
Oh, so you haven't replicated that over the years with other
and if I wanted to, then I felt like it would be like getting into a different line of work.
Sure, like mafia or something like that,
which probably would pay better.
Could be. But, okay. So you broke the guy's leg and took his job.
Took his job. When he came back, I was only there for about another 6 months, maybe. Yeah. And then left to the production end. And then did that for just probably 2 years. I think it was like 1980, 81 that I got into basically freelancing, which was, all the promises that everybody made didn't come true.
Of course.
Which is good to learn that early in your career, because when you're on staff and you're working every day, it's not really an issue. You don't really think about it. But when you're getting up every morning and thinking, the cold call, there wasn't texting, and there wasn't, cell phones, and it was like you could call and leave a message for somebody, and it was like spending the morning getting your hopes and dreams up enough to cold call.
What if they answer the phone?
Well, then the same sort of thing. Then it's almost better in a good way, but it's like then it's like humana. So that was tough. That was probably the beginning of this may not work out. Yeah. So I ended up doing freelance assistant editing. Mm-hmm. I went back and helped them out when they got busy at Film Surgeons. It's a great name for a post-production company.
Absolutely.
Of course, now nobody knows what film is, so it would have to be.
It's just surgeons, which gets very confusing. Digital surgeons.
Right, but then you could say practicing.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, which we can't say practicing. Or
so how'd you end up falling into camera?
Well, that sort of helped. And then probably that first year, I was doing a little bit of assisting on lower budget documentaries,
Camera assistant, I mean.
camera
Full focus,
assistant,
yeah.
educational
Oh, okay,
films.
gotcha.
I got hooked up with Paulus Productions, which back then they did like it was like a 1 hour or half-hour show. DP that Richard Beamer
Okay.
from West Side Story.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's pretty cool.
So the acting thing wasn't quite working.
Yeah.
I think it started to pick up again during, one of those David Lynch series.
Oh, Twin Peaks? Or,
Twin Peaks.
Yeah, okay.
He was
one of those?
Yeah, he sort of came back for that.
Nice.
But during that time, there was like a 10-month period or 10-year period where he was a DP.
Wow.
See how easy it?
There you go.
How hard could it be? I looked at him and I went, how hard could it be? I mean, I could never act in West Side Story.
Right.
So
But I could do that.
Seems like an option.
Yeah.
So did that a little bit, and then that kind of, I did stuff like casting, which I learned
Wow.
how, because then it was videotape.
Yeah.
It's kind of the beginning of videotaping a casting session. Mostly commercials, so you'd get hundreds of people coming in to smile for, you're having a great time and you're at the beach. And I'm just going, oh my God.
This is my life.
Poor people. Please, God, don't ask me. A couple of times they actually asked me to, Don, you should get out there and audition. And I'm like,
yeah.
I'll do it once and then you'll never ask me again. So here we go.
There you go. Get it out of the way. Nice.
I'm not that person in front of the camera for sure. And then it kind of slowly, I was lucky enough to meet Jim Mathers. Out of, he was an assistant out of Paulist.
Yeah.
And he was going to production manage this feature. And he introduced me to Russ Carpenter.
Okay.
Who had not done a feature that I know of.
He wasn't Russ Carpenter yet.
No.
Yeah.
He wasn't Russell Carpenter. Yes.
Yeah.
No, he was still Russ Carpenter at the time. And it was super low budget, but it was a feature and I was so excited.
And you were assisting on that.
I was the first assistant, second assistant, the loader. I would drive down to Orange County for shooting days.
Wow, nice.
I would load up all the mags in the morning, download and upload as much as I could at lunch, and then download and then make the drive back home. And I made it. It was
I remember 16 or 35?
35.
35. I remember the first time I loaded 35, I was like, oh, this is cool.
It was a 35 BL.
35 BL, BL1.
So you could do half of it on the other side
I
with
remember
the lid open.
Yep.
Thank God.
Yeah. Oh,
Just remember what side that you need to open.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one thing you only mess up once, and nobody knows. Well, actually, there are 4 people who know what we're talking about. But trust me, it was a golden age, and it was great, kids.
It was pretty great.
Yeah.
And you didn't know, you screwed up so many times, and you were hoping that nobody else would notice.
Yeah, but everybody else was screwing up too. So.
Yeah, or a focus situation where you think, oh my God, I really screwed that up. And Russ was the DP, the operator. It was a 1 camera rental house. Production wouldn't even let us have.
Do you remember what the name of the movie was?
Body. Soul Survivor.
Which
I thought was appropriate.
Looking that up later.
I'm guessing it was far enough back that I don't know.
It may not have survived.
It'd be a tough.
Sometimes you'd be surprised. There's some great stuff out there.
I know.
But, okay.
I know.
All right.
So that sort of was kind of the beginning of me thinking that I was going to make it. And then Russ and I did a show that people might remember way back when, from a short film called The Wizard of Speed and Time.
Okay.
A lot of pixelation, a lot of stop motion. So we did both of those, and then I was really, really lucky to work with Jack English, a gaffer, who introduced me to Fred Murphy out of New York.
Oh yeah.
Who was kind of the king of independent. This was still all non-union. The union was so far away.
You didn't even think about it.
No, it wasn't even.
I remember those days. It was like this thing that you heard about.
Yeah, I mean, it was a dream.
At
some point.
Sure.
Because then you wouldn't have to negotiate.
And you had no idea how to get into it or who was in it or yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And you were sort of afraid of it.
So he was coming out from New York, and he was hiring Jack to gaff, and Jack gave him my name, and he called me and hired me, and it was a TV movie. And my second assistant was Kevin McKnight,
Okay.
who's a DP now.
Yeah.
And Kevin was instrumental in, well, I'll jump to that a little bit later, but so I did the TV movie, but did the TV movie and then went off to, like, within 3 months, Fred got Hoosiers.
Oh, wow.
And no. Did Hoosiers first? No. The Trip to Bountiful.
Okay.
Which was the first script that I read that I thought, okay,
I'm doing something. This is cool.
This is really cool.
Yeah, like I'm making a movie.
This is like
that's really
real
cool.
acting.
Yeah.
You know, where you read the script and you think, holy cow.
Yeah.
This is actually like what people would say.
Yep.
You know, it was a Horton Foote.
This is what real people would say.
It was a Horton Foote screenplay, which is like,
that's
you
cool.
know, and Geraldine Page won an Academy Award for it. And she, at the end of the last day, she, you know, I gave her a big hug and she looked at me and she said, "You can measure me anytime you want, Don." And then from there, quickly, Hoosiers. Again, these were one camera shows. We didn't even have backup bodies. I mean, it was like if something went down, we would wait for you know, the next camera to come in.
That's cool. That's great.
Hoosiers had Fred shooting first unit and operating.
Yep.
And I was assisting. I had a second assistant, Phil Lee, who was wonderful.
I remember Phil Lee.
Yeah.
Phil Lee became an operator, right?
Became an operator and started shooting and actually passed away about 5 years ago.
I didn't know that. I worked with him years ago, and he was such a wonderful
Super
person.
great.
And I haven't heard his name in a long. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
he was a wonderful guy.
Still carrying that. He was definitely one of the good guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Well, I guess, you know, we're at that point in our career where that's starting to happen to people, but on to nicer things. So and then how'd you jump into operating?
I finished Hoosiers, came back to LA, did Bestseller, which was with Brian Dennehy and James Woods. And about towards the end, there was about a week left, and I got this call. Kevin McKnight had went to school around the same time, if not at the same time, with Shelley Johnson.
Okay.
And I got this call from Shelley. Said, "I got, you know, you got your name from Kevin McKnight. You know, I hear that you're assisting, but that you've shot some stuff.
That's cool.
I was wondering if I could take a look at something that you've done." I did a movie between Fred and Russ in Missouri, where it was like supposed to be a 6-week feature. We were living on this guy's property. Again, who cares?
Yeah.
In trailers.
Oh.
They brought in trailers, made this whole
That's the
trailer
best.
park thing.
Yeah.
And no phones, so to call home was waiting for the satellite phone, or there was one landline.
Yep.
I mean, it was just crazy to even think of that. So during that, the DP left after 8 weeks. He had a prior commitment.
Oh, okay.
And then the director said, "Don, would you hang on and shoot sort of the second unit stuff?"
So
oh my God, I was thrilled.
Yeah.
Of course, I had to explain it to my wife that I was going to stay even longer in this
the middle
place.
of nowhere.
Yeah. She wasn't my wife then, but that was even harder because it was like she might not be your wife if you stay. And I was like, this is a great opportunity. I don't know when this is going to happen again. I mean, I get to operate.
So am I.
Yes. I get to operate and DP and, you know, try to match what he had done. And some night exteriors, which is fun.
Cool.
And
how old were you?
Oh my God.
You're in your 20s?
Yeah.
Early 20s? Yeah.
Yeah. I think I started operating in 1986. So I would have been 28.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So Shelley ended up pulling you on what was that?
Well, Shelley called me and said, "Can I see some of your stuff?" And I had basically on 3/4 inch, again, something that nobody knows, but that's where you basically had a reel, or I had the movie on 3/4 inch because I didn't have the money to cut. And I basically bookended the movie. And I said, well, I shot the beginning and the end and then a lot of the second unit stuff.
That's great.
In the middle, the film's not so great, but, you know. He said, and I said, but I'm working on a show now. I can't really meet with you.
Yeah.
And he said, well, where are you living? And I told him where I was living. And he said, well, just leave it out on the porch when you go to work.
That's great.
And I'll come and pick it up. And I was like,
Yeah, what's going on?
I'm not
Yeah.
buying this,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm game.
Sure.
You know,
sure.
I don't know you. Kevin's great, and maybe that's part of the
Yeah.
process.
You should have left the tape out and said, look, watch the tape and all the good stuff is mine.
I didn't even know what that meant at the time.
But
I didn't
he
even know what good
decides
stuff.
whatever he liked.
I didn't know what good stuff was. I thought it was all good stuff
Yeah.
because it's just stuff.
So he watched this and he called you and...
Well, I went to work and didn't think at all because he couldn't reach me because there was
Sure.
no cell phone. It was, and I couldn't checked my machine at lunch, but didn't have anything there. That's when you had answering machines or an answering service and pagers. I never had a pager, thank God. But got home and the tapes weren't there, but I went in the door and my wife said, I got home and the tapes were still on the porch. And I went, oh, well, okay.
So well, yeah.
And so I went into my office and I checked the answering machine and Shelley was on the answering machine. And he said,
He watched it and came back. Wow.
he said, I got the tapes. I went back home. I looked at them. I'm thinking, who's got a 3/4
Yeah,
inch?
right.
But only Shelley Johnson. And I like what you've done. And I would love to hire you to be my operator.
That's amazing.
And I was thinking, okay, something's wrong here because I'm going to finish this show on Friday, I think, and they're going to go to New York and shoot like 2 or 3 days without me because nobody could afford taking anybody back then. And I think I went in on a Monday and started shooting like on a Wednesday.
That's amazing.
And, again, one camera, no video assist, no, where you actually talk with the director and talk with the DP. DP, the director might ride the first rehearsal and then the DP will ride a rehearsal and then you get to ride a rehearsal and then you shoot like the 4th take.
Yep.
Once everybody sort of figures it out. So it was really great learning experience. And Shelley was just the best. I mean, he was just such a talented guy, but even back then.
Yeah.
And that was the first day of my operating career in 1986. And I was lucky enough to not have to go back. I kept my assistant stuff.
Yeah.
I was prepared, but on one hand, I was like, I really have to let this take its course. I want people to know that I'm an operator. And to be a non-union operator, I think there was maybe 2.
Yeah, right.
I don't even know who the other ones were.
Because the DP's operated, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
and production would not
it wasn't a thing.
allow it because the money that would cost.
Yep.
And Shelley, his first interview, and I think partly he's told me that he was friends with Alan Davio. And when Shelley got his first feature, he was talking to Alan, and Alan said, you should get an operator so that you can focus on the lighting.
Wow.
And not have to worry about it.
Because that wasn't, was that normal back then? It wasn't normal.
No, it was normal in union.
Yeah, but not non-union.
No, and to tell you the truth, I don't even think I even realized. My dream was to work on one camera shows with great scripts and great talent that wanted to make the project.
Yeah.
And I was going to be an operator DP.
Yeah.
And I could focus on one shot at a time.
Sure.
And I wouldn't have to do the multitasking management DP stuff that exists today.
Oh yeah. That's a whole other thing.
Basically kept me in the operating. Once I realized when 2 cameras in 2000 became the norm, I just decided it was great to be an operator.
Yeah, yeah.
And not have to deal with the politics.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. No,
I deal with the politics on the set, which is fine because there's the
the
clock's running, the stopwatch is going. You can only argue so much for so long before you're wasting everybody's time.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
And you learn the games to play and shorthand.
Well, the thing that I always say is, but then you wrap. And you don't have to deal with the politics anymore.
Exactly.
Whereas with the DP you do, and Saturday and Sunday you have to.
Yes.
And Memorial Day weekend you have to.
And sometimes at the end of the day, it's like, we have
to
to go scout that diner
lunch,
that
right?
we lost.
Lunch, you're sitting down with a production designer, and
you're sitting down with the DP as an operator, and you guys are talking about the afternoon's work for about 5 seconds before they're interrupted and. Oh, we need you. Can we just, would you mind if we
Would you come sit in on this costume fitting so we can see what just send me a picture.
What size you are.
So tell me, so it sounds like Shelley sort of, for lack of a better word, I don't want to say protected you, but didn't throw you into the fire. He understood that you were a newer operator, but was it completely overwhelming for you? I mean,
Totally overwhelming, but I knew working with Fred that I was going to learn with a gearhead.
Yeah.
I knew
Nice.
that if they were going to be able to pay for an operator, which was really, it was a non-union show, and it was like probably, I might have gotten like another $1
Yeah.
more than the first assistant,
Yep.
which was totally fine. I, you know, my wife jokes because I will spend a week negotiating a deal now, and I didn't even know what my rate was until I got paid.
Yeah.
After the first week back
Like,
then.
wait, I got a check too.
Yeah,
This is
it
great.
didn't even matter. I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't even.
I remember
It's like
that
the
well.
job was the most important thing. The
Yeah.
credit.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh my god, I get another credit. Wow, this is
Yeah.
going to be fantastic. I actually have 3 things on my resume.
No, I hate to say it, but I specifically remember early on Steadicam, like talking to people and like they didn't have a lot of money, and I was like, well, what if you paid me less, could I get more days? Like, do you need more you know what I mean? Because it was more like, no, I need more days on things to learn how I'm doing. I can eat more, I can eat ramen for 2 extra weeks or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So you learned on a geared head, and did you know at that time how to use a geared head?
I knew it as much as I did with Fred Murphy, who used it. With Fred was funny because, like all operator DPs, they're doing 2 jobs. They're constantly, let's start with the gearhead.
Yeah.
And then as he's lighting, he's going, let's go back to the fluid head.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll be able to walk around the dolly. And so you put the fluid head back on. And then, as he does the first take, he goes, what, I think the
Yeah,
gearhead would be
yeah.
fine. And so you put the gearhead. And then, of course, then you get time to play around with it in prep, and you
Sure.
get time to play around with it at lunch. And I knew it, and I knew what everything did. Proficient, not even close.
Yeah.
But I knew that if I wanted to be, I had to do it, just like everything else we do in this business.
Yep.
You got to do it to get good at it. And I just thought, if I don't do it when I'm starting, it's going to be harder. And I don't want to be one of those guys that, oh my God, they're bringing out this piece of equipment and I have no idea
Yeah.
how to use it. I think I'm having a heart attack.
And so by the end of that, how long was the movie? Was it 30 days, 20 days, something?
Probably. It was probably
2.5
7
weeks? Yeah.
weeks.
Okay. So
6 or 7. It was kind
month and a
of
half or
30
whatever.
days. Yeah.
And so by the end of that, did you feel like you were proficient?
No.
Okay.
I still don't feel like I'm
I'm
proficient.
with you. I don't know if you do this, but I've been operating on wheels for 30 years or something like that. There are times when I'm about to start a shot and I'll look down and I'll go, I don't know which way these go. And then I have to not think about it and it goes the right way. But does that happen to you?
The hardest part
It's weird, right?
for me is when I'm on the camera and it's like a static shot for 90% of it, and then something's going to happen.
You start getting in your head, right?
And you sort of figure out where is the handle on the top part of the wheel or the bottom part of the wheel. And you do have to take your eye a little bit away from the eyepiece and look down to go, oh my God, I was about to go up, but it wouldn't go up because it's at the top of the wheel.
Or you do that thing where you're holding on with your fingers and you're feeling the rest of the
yes,
wheel with your
to
hand,
see, okay,
trying to
there's
figure out
nothing
where
up.
it is.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm not the only one who does
No.
that. I thought I was like the only person who did that. Or the other thing that always amazes me is sometimes I'll get a remote head and someone will have, it would have been underslung and now it's overslung, so the wheels are backwards, and I'll start turning them, and you would think you would instantly know that it's wrong, but you're going, well, I don't know, maybe it's right, and I've totally forgotten how to do this.
No, I know it's wrong. I know
something's wrong. I just don't know if it's me or if it's the wheel.
I know it's wrong, and it's a bad trick because I tell head techs, I say I can't. The left is normal, but the right's not working. And so we get to the button here, and they click it in, and everything's fine. And I'm saying, God, you can screw around with somebody who's never done this before, and have it the opposite, and know that they're going to go from that to a gearhead maybe next week. And then, my thinking was always, I want to know what it's going to be with as much equipment as possibly. So I wanted the gearhead to be the same as whatever remote head I would get. Now, some remote heads better than others. Some shots, the head helps immensely. Some shots, the head hurts immensely. And you still have to pull it off. You can't just raise your hand and tell everybody, if somebody knows how to do this better than me. That's one thing that you can't ever say as an operator. It's like, that's your job to fix it.
Yeah.
And that's your choice. Somebody else isn't going to say, oh, let me have a crack at this.
That's exactly
because nobody wants to be doing what you're doing.
No, exactly.
And I want to be the guy
Yeah.
who's doing that. When it comes down to it and we're rolling, I want to be in that position. Even if it's the hardest thing that I've ever done, it's like, you got this. This is one you can do. You're the only one on the set who can pull this off.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, other people might be able to, but you're hired to do this.
That's
this
exactly
is your
right. This
craft.
is your deal. No question about it. You told me a while ago.
That wasn't true.
That wasn't true. That wasn't you. You told me a while ago something about how you feel when the chaos disappears and the sticks get hit and can you
I didn't tell you. I told the world.
You told the world.
That was the on-camera interview for the.
For the SOC
being the
thing?
recipient for
No,
the
but we
SOC.
were talking the night before, and you said something. Maybe you said the same thing. Maybe you're regurgitating story.
I hope so, because then nobody will bother me anymore, and I won't have to do this.
No,
anymore.
but can you share that? Because I thought that was so eloquent.
You know, you can go to the website and probably show the piece, because I'll tell you, that was really nerve-wracking for me.
Being
not only
videotaped for the SOC.
the interview was really hard because it was
yeah.
about a week before. And then actually the whole event was just such a surreal moment.
Yeah,
and then just having Jeff Jur and Shelley Johnson there to introduce me was just surreal.
Well,
And
because
then,
those are two people who you've worked with your entire career, right?
thank God.
Yeah.
And the first two DPs that I worked with
That's
from the
amazing.
beginning, to keep that
Yeah.
bond,
Clearly,
that we're both, both of those guys are on the same page.
Yeah.
And they work differently. I mean, I can go almost extremes. Almost Shelley and Jeff are the two extremes, and everybody else I've worked with has sort of been in that middle ground.
But I'm going to bring you back to that, because what you told me was you said, and I've always felt like this, like there's chaos on set, right? You fill it in.
That it's total chaos, and the AD says roll sound, and it starts to get quiet, and the assistant comes in with his sticks and hits the slate, the marker, and hits the slate. And then by then it's pretty quiet, and I sort of look around and I sort of make sure that the actors are good and they're not, looking at their sides real fast. Sometimes they are.
Yeah.
And I'll wait a beat.
Or their phone.
Whatever it is, they know that we've hit the sticks.
Yep.
And they'll slide it under the table. They'll put it on the ground.
Yep.
Do you see the ground? Nope, I'm good. So drop it on the ground. And I'll look at them and they'll look at me. And I know that they're ready.
Yep.
And then I get to say, set. And by then it's pretty damn quiet. And everybody's just either super, super duper nervous or super, super duper calm.
Yep.
Or somewhere in between. Or both. Or all of those things.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the feeling I think that everybody is. From the actors to the crew. And then the director says, action. And I said in the interview that that's the part that I would do for free. And don't tell anybody that. But it really is. I feel like that part between action and cut is the most fun. And that's why we do what we do. Now, granted, that's 1% of what we do, but that's then they say, cut, 50,000 questions start coming your way.
Mm-hmm.
The director runs to the actor. They figure out what they're going to do differently. The DP comes to you. What can we do this way? You go to the assistant. You say, let's rack a little bit. You make these little tweaks, and then you do it all over again.
Yeah.
Or you're lucky enough that the director's happy and he says, we got it. Thanks, everybody. Let's move on to the next setup.
Yeah. No, I thought that was such a great encapsulation of it, because it's how I feel, but I'd never thought about it that way. And I realized afterwards, after you said it, I think on the way home, I was thinking about it. And what I realized, it's like there's this chaos, and then it's almost like someone opens a valve and it slowly sort of gets sucked out of the room until there's that moment where it's like, okay, now it's my turn.
Yeah.
And granted, it's not just me, it's me and the dolly grip and the assistant, but it's like this little orchestra's turn to play our piece and with the actors and whatever. And it's right. It is what all the other garbage that we have to deal with. Not all of it's garbage, but some of it leads to, because that's the payoff, is that when we get to do our thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought that was so eloquent. I really liked that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So if someone were to ask you, not in this business, what a camera operator is, what would you tell them? What's a camera operator?
First off, I don't think I've ever met anybody who's not in the film industry.
You need to get out more.
Because you do it 48 hours a day.
Yeah.
To me, I think the easiest way for a layperson is to try to explain that what they're seeing while they're watching the movie or the TV show or whatever they're watching, there is actually a human being who is framing that shot that you're watching.
Mm-hmm.
The shot that you're watching, I am behind the camera. I am panning and tilting. And if we move, I'm on a dolly, a piece of equipment that will actually roll on the ground. And there's a dolly grip that controls that. But I would say that what you're watching for the first time is basically what I do for a living. You're watching my work. It's basically my reel for that show that has been chosen not by me, by editors and producers and directors. And if it was up to me, every shot would be unbelievable, because there's always one shot that you'll realize it helps you cut it in your brain on the drive home. Not necessarily the one that they'll use, and it might not be cut that way that you think. But when I drive home before I go to bed, I know that I've accomplished. Yeah. That if they put me in an editing room, I would be able to cut that scene.
You can cut that scene
the next day, and the next day, you know, when you get those notes of, oh God, we don't have the close up of this, and I go, you don't need the close up of that. Yeah. That's not the story. You need this piece, and you have that piece. Yeah. You either say that because you've worked on the show and you know everybody, or you don't say anything and you go to the DP or the director and go, you know, I think that's fine. And I think it's kind of like a director who sees a rough cut for the first time and just wants to commit suicide because it's not his vision. He knows what the material is. And the editor, you know, it's a collaboration. You're going to have to deal with personalities. Yeah. And, you know, some people, you know, people's experience, if they're from cutting, you know, I get paid per cut, you know, then it's going to be a different feel than a show that, you know, has 50 cuts versus 500 cuts, you know, in the same, you know, hour show.
So what is working with what does a good collaboration with a director look like for you? And what is a bad collaboration?
One that lets me do whatever I want.
Yeah, no. Clearly. But what do you look for?
Like a good wife.
What do you look for in a good director?
I don't really look for anything. What I want, well, I guess I do.
Sure you do.
I expect them to be as prepared as I am.
Oh, nice.
And hopefully more so. But I do have to say I'm pretty prepared. I really think that you can't be too prepared.
So tell me what does that mean that you're prepared? What do you do to prepare first? You're doing a feature. You get the script. What do you?
I read the script for sure because that's how I decide if I want to do it.
Sure.
That and who's the DP and who's the director and who's the production company and how long's the schedule, and it all kind of falls into that. But the script has to be pretty. And the older I get and the longer I do it, it's got to be something that I feel is not going to be something that I've already done. Yeah. I don't want to repeat myself anymore. Yeah. I've done enough shows that I shouldn't even have taken. But but you know, as my wife says, there's groceries and there's art. And she will ask me.
She's a smart woman.
Every script comes my way, and I'll take the show, and she'll go, "Is it groceries or art?" And I'll go, "Art," and she'll go, "Yes."
Yeah. Okay. All
That's
right.
once, and then 9. You know, groceries.
Yeah, sure.
It's usually 1 in 10, I think, is the dream one.
Yeah.
A couple of the other ones you sort of are on the fence because they might be a good experience.
Yeah, yeah. But going back to prep, so when let me ask you this: when you read it, do you try to envision it?
No.
Do you try not to envision it?
I just try to read.
So your finger doesn't get tired.
Yes. I love scripts that have lots of pictures.
Yeah.
Which is non-existent in scripts. I like to read it as an audience member because that's going to be what's going to draw me in.
Okay.
Inevitably, I'll see moments where I kind of think visually it might be nice.
Yeah.
Now I look for a lot of night exteriors because I don't want to do those.
Oh yeah. I don't take vampire movies.
Don't take vampire movies. Don't take anything that has night in the title.
Oh yeah, night in the title.
Night and vampires.
Yeah.
yikes, run.
No,
Yeah.
actually. You could take something called No Nights, maybe.
Or you could, or how about day for night vampires?
Day for Night Vampire.
I'm sort of surprised, just to sort of veer off, that there hasn't been more day for night choices with HD.
With HD. Well,
where you have the DIT control.
But maybe there is, and we don't know it. Look, Deakins did a ton of it in 1917. Right?
Yeah.
1917, 1918?
And the trick is like a lot of things that we do, is that it has to be consistent.
Yes.
That once you commit to it.
That's the look.
And it has to be almost period, because if it's modern, you're going to have headlight problems, because the headlight's not going to read unless you pump them up.
No, but I'm no vampire. I've actually turned down a couple of vampire movies because I'm just like, no, I know how that goes.
But I'd say read the script, try to get the DP's ear as much as you can, without being overbearing. Not like it's all about me.
Yeah.
But what are you trying to do? What's your vision here? The sad part for me, being an operator, is that you don't really get to meet the director until the first day. And to me, that is just like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Can I come in and just do the table reading with you guys? Can I just, I just drool when they say, are you available for a couple of days of makeup and hair tests? And I'm like, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Oh my God. I can meet the actors. I can meet the director. It's low key. There's no pressure.
Yeah.
I can put a name to a face, and it's fantastic. But most of the time it's not. And you get there and you hopefully have worked with the DP before. If you work with the DP and the director, it's kind of great, because you kind of know what to expect.
Sure. And they know what to expect from you.
Yeah, which hopefully is whatever they want.
Yeah.
And if they don't know, then we talk about it. Or, Don, what do you think here? Or, most of the time they'll have an idea, and then you just kind of build off of that. I feel like I'm more of a support department than anything. They'll give me a starting point, and if they don't, the actors will in the blocking rehearsal that you see. It kind of just all falls into place if you do it correctly. And as an operator, I can tell how long that scene is going to take to shoot and what shots they need. And then double that, because that's the norm. Because you're going to do twice as many shots than you think. And if you're watching a blocking and somebody crosses the proverbial line that everybody's afraid of, and a whole half of the scene takes place, then you're doubling your coverage there. It's like, why are they going? Why don't they come over here to the window? Why are they going over there? There's, it's not a bad thing to just say, what do you think? It would help me out, and I think it would look better. They're just playing with it for the first time too, or the second time as for a run through. But the other thing that I would really love, besides being around in prep, which is not going to happen because I'll be retired by then, is to be in the first rehearsals, is to be in with the director, the actors, the DP, the private rehearsals. That some shows I'm invited.
It happens occasionally.
And some shows they just don't want you there because they don't want you to see the process.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't want me to see the process. I shoot the process.
Well, and there's this other part of me that's like, what do you think we think you do in there that we don't understand?
Or are you in there getting high?
Yeah, what's going on? And they're in there going like, what, should we do this for another 10 minutes? But let's do another 15 minutes and then we'll tell them we did something.
And there's for sure times when you go in there for the marking rehearsal and they're not ready for a marking rehearsal.
They're not ready at all.
And I look around and go, I don't think you guys are ready for a marking rehearsal. And they look at me like, sorry, the 8D said
exactly.
that we got to do a marking rehearsal because we got a lot to do.
Yeah,
it's like, well, that's not helpful.
It's kind of unbelievable. So let me ask you a question. You mentioned, you're doing a rehearsal and someone crosses the line and goes over to the window and you realize that doubles your coverage and whatever. And I'm talking about you're working with a new DP and a new director, not your usual guys, because that's not fair. When do you as an operator bring that up to them, or do you as an operator let's say it's day one with a new director, a new DP, and you're watching this. Because, I think if you're like me, I'm working with a new director, a new DP. Day one, I'll tend to kind of pull back a little bit unless the car is about to hit the tree. Because I'm sort of going, what do you do? And what do you do? And how much do you want? And I'll usually sort of lob some sort of softball question in there to see how that goes. But is that the same kind of thing?
Pretty much. It also depends on if the DP's worked with the director before.
Sure.
How close they are with note taking, and how much are they paying attention to that scene, or is this a scene that's just a filler for the scene before and the scene after?
Yeah.
And it's not super critical.
Sure.
But if it's not gonna change anything except the time that we spent shooting it,
Yeah.
I might do it. I am selective depending on the time, and the timing has to be pretty good because you want to be able to do it tomorrow and you want to be able to do it the next day.
Give the input, you mean?
Give the input and keep the door open. You
Yes.
don't want to say the first day 3 things and then the DP doesn't want to hear what you have to say.
That's it. Yep.
And it might take us another hour. Director wants it over for them to cross over there.
Sure.
And sometimes it's on purpose. Sometimes it's like, I want to go over there so that I can come across.
Yeah, or break
and
the
have
momentum
and
or
have a different,
or whatever.
or it's a story point.
Yeah.
And, most of the time that's, you can rationalize that, but it doesn't really happen that way. But it's a definite psychology class that I sort of wish I took. I think every hour that you spend in learning filmmaking, you should spend in a psychology class to learn.
I'd say 2, actually, maybe.
Yeah,
because the filmmaking stuff is actually pretty easy to figure out. It's the egos and the talking and the
It's the humans.
Yeah,
it's the humans that make it difficult because they're not thinking of the same thing you're thinking.
Yeah,
I mean, the only thing I'm thinking of is storytelling. They have to think of storytelling, get the actors on the right page, get the performance from the actor.
Yep.
I could never get a performance from an actor. That's a gift that when it happens, I am just in awe. That's probably the coolest thing, to watch a good director after a take go up to an actor and say 5 words, maybe a sentence.
Yeah.
The actor looks at him, doesn't say a thing.
Yeah.
Director turns, goes away, and you roll and you do it, and it's amazing.
I totally.
You're like, how did that do that?
Do you ever go up to them afterwards and say, if I'm out of my rice bowl, let me know, but what did you say? Just because I'm fascinated to know about
No, I hear what they're saying.
Yeah, but sometimes when you don't, I mean, when you hear what, it's great, but sometimes when you don't, I'll actually go up and go, if you don't want to tell me, but I just want to know what was it that you said?
I usually hear it, even when it's a whisper, because I'm
sure.
I mean, we're usually within like 10 feet.
Yeah.
And most directors aren't like,
No, exactly. But sometimes, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
it's like there's
absolutely.
that little thing, but
absolutely. But to have that trust level, that I will never have that trust level that an actor has with a director.
Yeah.
As an operator and a director.
Yeah.
Only because I have to watch my back. I mean, but from that point to actually to be in front of the camera,
and be that vulnerable,
which to me,
right?
and be that vulnerable, and still be able to think that I'm not me. I'm this character. This is my character. This is the history of my character. I mean, to me, it's just goosebumps. I mean, it's just amazing that stuff can be happening and then be recorded forever.
Yeah.
You know?
And so I think I already know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Are there those times where you're in the close up and you're watching it and and you're just going, I can't believe I get to be
absolutely
the person watching this.
Absolutely.
It's incredible, right?
Yeah.
Those are the best moments in the world when it happens, and you just see something happen.
Yeah.
But so tell me, so working with actors, you've worked with major actors.
Sometimes.
And some not, as we all have. But what's your interaction with actors like? What's
their call?
Yeah,
it's totally their call.
How do you feel them out?
I just want them to know, without saying anything, just with my actions, that I'm there for them.
Yeah. That
I'm paying attention to them.
Yeah.
That yes, there's a C-stand in the shot that we're trying to get rid of while you're getting ready, and I don't want to yell across I just want you to know that I am here for you. Whatever you need, I'm here to support you.
So asking deeper into that, without saying that to them, how do you do that? How do you
look them in the eye?
Yeah.
Pay attention to them when they're talking about something. If they're asking for the director and the AD's not there, I'll say, "Hey, Bill, John wants to talk to you."
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, somebody's actually hearing me and paying attention to me."
Yeah.
It's paying attention. They love that. I mean, they feed off of that. That's what they do for a living. So I think the more back to collaboration, which seems to be the word of my biography.
That's good, though.
Or wishful collaboration,
Yeah,
maybe that's a better one.
I wish I had been a collaborator.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I was. I just think that, and then you sort of build a rapport. Then you can kind of, after a scene, you can kind of feel them out.
Yeah.
You know, I would say I introduce myself the first time, usually off camera.
Okay.
You do the wide shot, you kind of work your way in.
You're talking about day one, basically.
Yeah, day one or sometimes day two. I mean,
Yeah.
you never know what the scenes are going to be. If there wasn't a makeup and hair where I sort of got a moment to say hi and then kind of build off of that, they're usually right by the camera.
Yeah.
You know, so they'll be off camera and they'll come in and I'll introduce myself and I'll say, you know, if there's anything I can do, just let me know. If you want another take.
It's funny, I do.
And you feel funny, just tell me, or just look at me, and I'll know right away. If it's like, and I'll just say, we got to do another one. And then they're going to ask me why, and I'm going to say, let's just do another one. I think you'll be happy with
my
it.
stomach grumbled during that take. I need another one.
The thing is with asking for something, it's usually somebody else's reason, because I've realized there's so many experts now watching the monitors because there's so many of them. How could I know what I'm doing? They have to tell me that I did a good job. You could cut that part out. Yeah.
It never happens.
But just to sort of, I guess it's just one of those, things that you, and then they know that you're fighting for them. They know that, and then we'll have a conversation afterwards of, no problem. I don't have any trouble doing that, but I'm going to tell you why I don't most of the time.
Yeah.
If I can't do it better. So I would say, make sure that you feel like you could do it better.
You're saying when you ask for another one for yourself?
If that even happens. When I used to, when it was not video, I would do it because I felt like I didn't quite get it the way that it should be for the story, and that I could do it. If I didn't know for sure that next take I was going to nail it.
Yeah. What's the point?
Because
then you're going to go, I didn't get it on that one. I need another one.
Then you're going then you've lost all respect of everything.
Yeah.
And it's usually, you're nitpicking so much that if the performance is there, and we did a little bit of a bobble, which I would say the challenges now are when you multiply the operators, where you have a dolly grip that's booming up as an actor is standing. So you have an actor operating, and we're trying to react as a dolly grip and as an operator. So you have three people that could screw up this shot.
Sure.
If he bolts and the dolly grip doesn't get it, then you're doing this sort of, do I go with it? How far do I whip? And then knowing that I'm going to have to do it correct.
You're going to tilt up and tilt back down.
And go in reverse at some point. Or do I trust them and know they're really good at it? I mean, you learn that in the first week.
Sure.
What you're going to do. And, then the DP learns, and, maybe they stand out of it, and then you know that there's going to be a cut there.
Yeah.
But you'll do a lot of stuff that's questionable. And, and then you get that answer that you just dread of, oh, I'll never be on it for that.
I'll never be on it for that.
And then you see the show and you go, oh my God.
Yep. That's one of the things that I tell, because I mentor people through 600, and I have a sort of list of ththings that I've put together over the years. And what I would tell them is, when they tell you to do an on-camera reset, point down to the dolly or point down to the floor, like make it completely, because if it's like, if it's a push in and they're going to pull back and you hold it, some editor's going to go, oh, that's great. But you're eating a sandwich while they're doing it and you're moving all over. It's just, you make it completely unusable. Yeah. Because anything that's possible, nothing against editors, by the way. It's just, that always scares me, because there are sometimes earlier on before I did that, where I'd see something, I'd be like, whoa, oh my God, that wasn't the shot at all. And they used that. Yeah. So I totally agree with that. And what about, you were talking about with the dolly grip. So when you work with, what you were telling me on Barry, that like your first day, it was you're a new operator with a new dolly grip. And
a new key grip that I had not worked with before. And a new DP. Yeah. and a new director for me.
So from a point of view of the working with the dolly grip, because like working with the DP, working with the director, that's like you said, it's a lot of psychology going on. There's not that there's a lot of psychology going on with the dolly grip,
Yes.
but
Even more so, I think.
do you have a process for sort of figuring out whether you can trust whether these people are going to be able to stand up with someone, or you just wait and see how it happens?
It has to be wait and see.
Yeah.
I'm not going to see their work.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume that if they've done it for a while, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But I'm going to learn with them. They're going to learn the way I work.
Sure.
I'm going to learn the way they work.
Yeah.
The first week, I try to figure out, am I in a position to fire somebody?
Oh.
Or who's in a position to fire me?
Yeah.
Or is that even a possibility?
Oh, interesting.
You know, if I'm working with a DP, I know that I have that collaboration and I don't have to worry about that.
I don't have to worry about that.
And if it comes down to that, they're going to tell me,
Yeah.
Don, they don't really like the way that
It's
you
not-
do
yeah,
this
yeah,
or
yeah,
the way that you
yeah.
do that. So there's that sort of, I mean, starting off in your career, you think you're going to be fired every day. I mean, to tell you the truth, I mean, the union tells us that we could be fired every day. They promise us 8 hours
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
That's it.
And that's it.
And then they come to us at the end of the day and
There's a
say,
reason- there's
you're
a re-
fired.
Yeah.
And what do I get? 0.
Yeah, there's a reason why I look at the preliminary every day on the backside because I go, oh well, I'm coming in tomorrow.
Hopefully at lunch, because you can know. Oh God, well, if I'm not going to be here, then I could leave at 2.
And the funny thing is like early on in my career, I remember thinking like I'm not very good, but I'm really nice and I'm sort of fun, so I think they'll keep me around. And now I'm at the point where I'm going, well, I think I'm better, but I'm really not nice or decent anymore. Nobody wants to be around me. So it's like I've gone from expecting to be fired for one reason back to the other reason, but at least the key is I'm still expecting to be fired. When I started ER, I don't think I moved stuff onto the truck for the first 2 weeks because I just assumed I was going to get fired every single day. I mean, I was 26. I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
But yeah. But what happens when you've been around for a long time, and I mean, you're a great camera operator. When you jump on a show like your day playing or whatever, and the dolly grip or the assistant just isn't up to the speed that you are?
I still will not give up.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most important thing. And I feel that about every part of the filmmaking process. No matter how bad it gets, you still are doing a project.
Sure.
For hopefully a good script. Sometimes it's a bad script, but you're still trying to get through the day. And I still feel that the most important thing is to do the next take.
Yeah.
You know, let's just try it again. Let's do this. I might, if he doesn't really know, or I look back and he's got that, deer in the headlights, which we've all seen.
Yeah.
And they've seen it from
They've seen it
operators
from
sometimes,
operators. I was gonna say,
where it'd be like they won't even take their eye away from the eyepiece because
Yeah.
they have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Yeah.
give me some feedback,
Yeah.
or
Something.
a
Did
good
that
dolly
work? Did
grip
that
will
not work?
say, how did that? What was that for you? How did you think? And it's like, back to the standing and sitting. It's like, okay, as they go, let's just, as he finishes that line,
Yeah.
and he's thinking about getting up, let's just ever so slightly just get that feel of it's starting to go. It's almost imperceptible, and the good ones know where it is, so that when it does happen, you already have it.
You're already in motion and they're booming and doing the whole thing.
And sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's like 10 notes that gets you into.
Yeah.
But it's like this is the guy that's gonna make me look like an idiot or a genius.
Yep.
And I need to have a rapport. And if they don't want to be there, I'll have that talk and say, if you don't want to be here, don't. I know you might need the money, but you know what? Let me, I'm going to send you the script tonight, Friday. You can read it over the weekend. I just want your input. I just want them to be involved. And even if I don't really want that, I want to sort of tell them something that will get them out of their funk.
Yeah.
Because I want as many people around me who are helpful.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to worry about, oh God, they're designing the shot that we're never going to get because the dolly grip can't do this and this. So I might sort of say, well, maybe we should do this part here and then break it up. have him exit, and then we'll reset, and then we'll do that piece there.
Or ask the director, how are you planning on cutting this? Because
Oh, God.
let's not overburden.
Well, that's
right?
when their eyes get all glassy and they go, cutting?
Cutting.
We have editors.
That's someone else's job.
Yeah.
I don't know. So it sounds like basically what you're saying is you try to involve them in the storytelling of the show. I mean, one of the things that I always thought was there are those great dolly grips that I work with, and assistants, by the way, who understand not only how to go from A to B, focus or dolly, but understand why they're going from A to B.
Yeah.
And that to me is what the difference between a good assistant dolly grip and a great assistant or dolly grip. And we were talking before how you were saying, maybe you were saying on Barry or whatever, that, you know, your assistant would come up to you and say like, hey, what if I pulled focus to the back of his head or whatever? Like,
Yeah.
What's your feeling on dolly grips and assistants, like taking ownership of those different ideas? And is that good? Is that, you know?
Totally good.
Yeah.
I can always say no.
Yeah.
It's the same question that people ask. I'm going to give your name to so-and-so. It's like, fine.
Yeah.
Here's my number. I feel sort of the same way. I want as much input because I know that I can say no.
Yeah.
The same as everything that I bring to the DP, they can say no, or the director, they can say
Sure.
no. But if it's something that's going to make it better, and I really believe that it
Yeah.
is, I'll come out and say it. But again, it's that psychology thing of, you know, when is the good time, the right time, how crazy it is,
Yeah.
how much is everybody flipping out
Yeah.
over, you know, the producers are getting pissed off because we're doing too many setups, but
Yeah.
this is the setups that, you know, I mean, it's just, the thing is until you actually see an example of it, unless you're on the set, you know, and you've read the sides. And I mean, I think that's almost more important than anything. I'd love to take every new operator and just have them run through with me. You know, COVID has kind of put a dent in that, but I would love the union to just say, you know, you get Joe Schmo for a week.
You're going to watch this person
on
set.
the show, and production's cool with it.
And see all that stuff that you don't.
You're going to see all of that stuff, and you're going to just, you're just going to be a sponge. You don't even have to worry about, you know, am I going to have to do this?
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you to come in and do take 5.
Sure.
You know, or you know what? Like, I was good on that one, but you guys are going to do another one. I'll let Bill come on.
Exactly. Well, you know, one of the things that I've done in the past with, like, you know, if we have a camera PA or we have you know, what do they call not a DIB, but a digital utility, I guess they're called now. Yeah. Is when we're setting up a crane shot. If we have extra headsets, I give them the headsets and I go, just listen to how we do this. Because that's one of those things that, like, nobody, because everyone's talking quietly on the headsets and you're fine. Okay, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, et cetera, et cetera. And I've had people say to me before, like, this is unbelievable to be able to hear this. And then, of course, I go, you still got to do your job. Like, I don't want the second getting upset at me because something's not happening. Yeah. But I totally agree with that because there's so much stuff that's nuanced. But going back to the taking ownership of it, how do you feel about when you're doing a shot and there's something that just happens where a focus puller realizes that in the moment, like, something is happening, do you know? Yeah. And they just go, I'm just going to go for this because I can't miss this moment. You know? Yeah. I mean, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing?
I think it's a good thing. Yeah. And I'll say that because, excuse me. I think it's a good thing because I know that they're paying attention. Yeah. And it's the same with a dolly grip. If they start a little sooner or a little later,
feel it, right?
Either they're sleeping. Yeah. And I'll know that.
That's the jerk at the beginning of the television.
Or it's it's that in the moment, that, you know, that take the headsets off, you know, just let the dolly grip and the operator and the boom guy and the actors have their moment. Yeah. And if we do it and the assistant takes that creative process, I mean, I would love to have those notes beforehand.
No, 100%. But sometimes it just happens.
But if it does just happen, you can always do another take. Yeah. And it's usually a director or a DP that will question. Yeah. Because they weren't prepared.
They weren't prepared to
see it.
Yeah.
So that's.
It's tricky.
Yeah, it is tricky.
But the thing that I always feel is, like, sometimes though, you catch something that you couldn't have planned just because an actor leans a certain
Yeah.
way and clears something or whatever, and suddenly there's a whole new story there that's the story that wasn't there before.
Right.
So I always talk to assistants like, look, don't abuse this, obviously, but if there's something that's just lightning in a bottle, but the funny
Or
thing,
tell me beforehand.
yeah.
You know, let's talk
I think
about
might
this
happen or whatever. Always,
you know,
of
while
course,
you're watching it,
Yeah.
because I want them to watch the blocking rehearsal too.
yeah.
Because basically the dolly grip and you are going to decide how you're going to pull off.
Sure.
Once the viewfinder comes out and they walk around, you're going to
Yeah.
go, do we want to do this way, this way, this way? I mean, and then you have the options, and if they have experience, you know, you sort of put it all on the table and
Absolutely.
figure out what's
and
best.
I find a lot of times the good ones that I work with who we have a rapport, they'll come through and they'll go, okay, you know, after the first take, now if he does this, you think that we should, you know, and then it's sort of like, yeah, if that happens, go for it or whatever. So at least you're on the. But the funny thing that I
But
find,
don't count on it.
But
That's
don't
the
count
other
on it.
thing
That's-
is that he might not do this, and don't ramp yourself, because that's the worst thing you
Be
can
ready
do
for it, but
as
don't
an
count on it.
operator is start to think that they're going to do the same thing
Yep.
in take two that they
Yeah.
did in take one.
Yeah,
It's like
an excellent-
start from scratch.
An excellent point.
every-
Everyone's different.
every
right?
take.
Yep. No, I totally
And that's
agree.
hard. It's hard
Yeah.
because it's like, I need to get a jump, and he does that after that line.
Yeah.
Well, no, he just did it after that line just now. Is he
Yep.
going to do it after that line?
Yep. Yep. And it's one of those things, especially with the good dolly grips that I work with, who it's like, he's probably going to stand after he says goodbye, but he might not stand after he says goodbye.
Yeah.
So when do you want me to go? I want you to go when he stands. How do I know when that is? Well, just when he starts to rise, that's when he stands.
Yeah.
Because it's different. And there are those people who it's like, or they'll do they'll like shift forward in the seat, but then they'll shift back, and then
Where the head goes down below the knees,
Yeah.
and then it's like, what the? How
Yeah.
do you? Is that how you normally sit, or that's how your character sits?
when I started ER, Eric LaSalle, who was one of the actors, like the first week or so, he had to do a stand up, and he looked at me and he said, "Just so you know, you'll never forget this moment." And I said, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "You're going for a ride." And he does this like mid torso dip stand up, but he knows, he's aware of it, and it was just like, and I lost him on the first one, and he said, "You'll get it eventually." And eventually I got it, but he has just a very different way of standing up.
And what's really fun is when you get the actors that are like Matthew Reese is a perfect example. He knows that he's going to do this at a speed that is humanly doable with the dolly grip and the operator.
So he's aware of the mechanics.
Totally aware.
Yeah.
John Hamm was another one. I mean, there's a certain, you know, Anthony Hopkins. I mean, there's a certain group of actors that are just so amazingly aware technically.
Yeah.
To the point of where it's like, stop it. But they do what they do better than anybody. And they can do what I'm doing. Yeah. And I'm just in awe when that all clicks. Yeah. Then I feel like, I mean, I know I could never get in front of the camera and be as comfortable as they are.
Yeah. Well,
they don't think that they could come and operate.
Oh, absolutely.
And another thing to bond back to that question is sometimes on a remote head, I'll get a director to have you ever done this?
What's that?
Being on a remote head, you know, operating on a remote head.
Yeah.
Having the wheels on a cart while the crane's over there.
Yeah.
It's like a video game. Come over and just
to get the director
just
in
put
on
their
it.
hands on it.
Absolutely.
And just say, this does that and that does that. Yeah. And then they're like, no, I don't want any part of it. Or, you know, they might get, you know, I have pictures of actors that are there, you know, doing it not very well, but still just kind of going, this is cool.
Yeah, no, look, my favorite thing to do is when a lot of actors will, hey, can I put the Steadicam on sometime? And I'm like, yeah. And then after
on the weekend.
Yeah, and then after they put it on, they're just like, everybody, Dave's got the Steadicam up. We got to go right, because they're just completely shocked, which of course it's nowhere near as hard on me as it is on them. Yeah. But still, they're just, you know, and of course I'm not going, hey, can I deliver a soliloquy to you? Because that's not happening.
No.
But that's all fantastic stuff. So let me ask you a question. Running the set, right? I mean, it's always weird because I don't really like to say the A camera operator runs the set because it seems like too, but we're massively involved, right? And if someone's a B camera operator and they want to become an A camera operator, what's the difference that they have to learn?
Well, first off, they should wait for me to retire.
That's true.
I don't want any more competition.
That's exactly right.
There's too many good operators out there as it is. I think it's as simple as saying, just be professional, which I think involves being nice, being cordial, being understanding, being supportive, to the point where if there's a boom shadow on the back wall and the boom guy's going, Don, they just put that light there and we're about to roll.
Yeah.
And I'll go, hang on a second. And then I'll go to the DP and I'll say, is it possible to flag that off?
Yeah.
Or should I tell the boom guy that we're going to need to do radios? Or, if you want to make that call, is it something that we can have the grip?
Give them the option as opposed to.
Just keep, and again, keep the process open. I don't want it to be, oh God, the sound guys. Because inside there's a lot of times where I just go, I'll say that.
Yeah.
Or, Jesus Christ, where were you when we were lighting this thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I know that every take I'm going to have to work with this guy or this girl or this woman or this person. And I know that I have to keep those doors open. I have to keep that communication open, that if you have a problem, and I'll do it. I mean, we've all worked with prop people who at the last, you're rolling, you hit the sticks, you look at the actors, you're ready to go. Yeah. And they come running in to like move something over 1 inch, which, inside, I'm just like rolling my eyes out of my head. Outside, I'm saying, are you good? As they're running out. Yep. And after the take, I'll say, you know what, just let me know. And they'll say, well, then, they won't let me get ready because I'm out there doing it. And then the AD yells roll sound. And I go, look at me and say, Don, I need 10 seconds.
Yeah. I'll always have your back.
And I will not slate it. I'll let them roll. The AD does his thing. In those 10, 15 seconds where he's figuring out what's going on, he's going to probably come in. By the time he gets in, you've done your thing. As long as you do what you need to do to sleep at night, I'm totally fine with that. As long as we all know it. If you feel flustered and you're not being able to do it, let me know. I mean, we are in a position to help everybody else. We're the person.
I think you're right. That's a good way to put it, actually.
We used to be the person that turned on the camera.
No, that's
now
not.
It's
I don't even know where the button is.
Now it's the first assistant.
Is there a button?
There is, but now
somewhere.
with remote stuff being half that you don't. I mean, when it first started, I would like, and even with film, and there's still times doing HD that I'll reach up when they say roll sound to hit the on
you still
switch
hang
on
your
the
glasses
back.
On the back of it, or they fall off.
My 84th pair.
I'll explain that to other people afterwards who have no idea what a film camera is. We're going to have a glossary of explanations on this.
Well, now everybody,
what a phone book was.
Everybody knows we wear glasses.
That's exactly
when we were shooting film. I wasn't wearing glasses.
Yeah, I was, unfortunately. But but that's a really good point. Is that we're in a position to get. Steve Hubble, who's a great dolly grip that I work with all the time. He has this thing where, and you get it like 2 days in, where he'll just at the last minute something happens, and like you said, the prop guy's running, and he'll just turn to the AD and go, "I got to tie my shoe. I just got to tie my shoe before we go. I need to tie my shoe and my shoe's tied," and he'll do that. But they get it's a funny way of doing that. And he doesn't abuse it, and then the other thing is I'll usually see him running in, and we are ready to go, or whatever. I agree with you. There is part of me that sort of rolls my eyes, but then there's also part of me that realizes that someone probably said to them, "Hey, you go in and change that now," and they may not even want to do it. So I think that's the thing that I try to do is I don't do it all the time, and I don't do it well because sometimes you do get frustrated, but you realize that nobody has enough time to do anything. Everybody's being pushed out of the way to do this and that and the other. So I think in the long run, everything you just told me, to me, it's funny because having these conversations makes me think of stuff. Is you just don't want any surprises, right? You just want to know everything ahead of time, which of course you can't. But it's like if I have a heads up, I can. Again,
it goes back to prep, and that is your prep before you roll the camera. Is your prep, and you're constantly in that room. Scanning every possibility of something going wrong,
of what's going to kill me,
and you try to eliminate all of those problems before it becomes a problem.
No, that's exactly. It's damage control, right? It's now. Do you let's say you're setting up the master. The master's also if it's just a lock off or whatever. do you spend time looking around and thinking about what the coverage is going to be so you can sort of pre-think?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's what keeps me sort of sane. I think if I only thought of the shot that I was doing,
Yeah.
and to tell you the truth, the multiple camera has freaked me out. I think because I started with one camera,
Sure.
everybody focused at one camera. I would drive home and know how to cut the scene because I saw every shot.
Uh-huh.
Now I see where they are and I see what they're doing, but it's not in my head the same way as if once I see the show, I know what shots I operated on and what shots I didn't operate on.
No.
And that sort of blows people's minds because it's like,
Yeah.
it's like, how do you know that? I
No,
go,
because you remember the shots.
it's the
right?
dream.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the dream that you're playing in your head. Going back briefly, because again, I'm jumping in my brain too,
No,
that I
it's
just
good.
realized that with multiple cameras now, I feel like, and I have to a lot of times have this conversation with B camera operators is, if I'm running the set and I am worried about everybody's job, I want to be the one that says set. I don't want to say set and then B camera says set. I want to say mark it, or I don't want to say that, but they mark it,
Yep.
and then B camera hits the sticks, and I'll look over and I'll watch them sneak out and duck down,
Yeah.
so that they're not moving. And then I know that the operator had his couple of seconds to
Yep.
reframe or get set.
Yep.
And then I'll say set for the group.
Mm-hmm.
I do it for the actors. I do it for.
No, I love
I
that.
want to
Yeah.
just simplify the process, so it's
Yeah.
not set, and then the AD goes,
Yeah, well, then there's that
Is
usual,
B
is
set?
everybody set?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or actually, I've been on the thing before where it's just me, and I'll say set, and the ADs look, are we set?
Yeah.
And I'll take them aside and go, look, I don't want to play this game. Like
Yeah.
either I don't know if I'm not saying it loud enough. What do I have to do differently? Because
and that depends on the AD too,
It
because
does.
there's ADs that that you can explain, and it's usually by the end of the first day, everybody
Yeah.
knows the routine.
try to get on.
God,
the
if they don't
same
know
page.
by lunch, then we're in
You got
trouble
problems.
anyway.
That's exactly right. So talking about a B camera operator, what do you look for in a B camera operator? I mean, you were never a B camera operator, right?
One time.
One time, and you just failed miserably at it.
No, it was later on in my career, and it just happened kind of a fluke. I had worked a show in Atlanta. I came back to LA. I never really wanted to do B camera because I just felt like you weren't as involved.
Sure.
Even if you wanted to be, you weren't, because then
Yeah.
you'd be in the way.
No, you're the second. You're the second kid.
And I got a call to do Bumblebee, the
Uh-huh.
super transformer nightmare. But it was in town and in Northern
I
California.
remember I liked the B camera work on that movie.
Well, the thing is it was Bumblebee, and I thought, well, it has a lot of B's in the title.
There you go. So it
Doesn't
must
have a
be
lot of
about-
A's.
No, that's a good point.
So
Didn't work out that
I'm
well,
thinking,
but- yeah.
And then of course the interview, which is always great when the DP sort of lies to you and says, I don't like that sort of A, B, 1, 2. I like it
Oh,
that
yeah,
it's
you're all as important as the other. Yeah.
and we all know from experience
Yeah.
that it's the military style
Of course.
of the filmmaking
And it
process.
has to be on
It
some
has
level.
to be.
Yeah.
Or else, and nothing worse than a DP saying, all right, these are the two shots, you guys decide which ones you want to
Yeah.
do. I'm just
Yeah.
like, and then it becomes, oh, well, that camera's there with that lens.
Yeah.
So let them do the close up. And I'm like, no.
We're going over
That's,
there.
we're going to go over there.
Yeah.
I know we have to take that lens off. Oh my
Yeah.
God, and put it on this camera. Everybody take 25.
Let's just break for the day.
Yeah.
We're going to change the lens.
we'll hit
come
this
back
tomorrow.
We'll do this. No, but I know what you mean. People will it's like, but the camera's already over there. And it's like, and this one can go there in 2 seconds. By the time I finish this sentence, the camera
I know I'm
can
going to
go
give this away, but there's
Yeah.
wheels on this.
Yeah. Or there's that thing where it's like, well, I could just go over and use that camera, and it was like, oh no, the world's gonna end. But yeah, it is bizarre. But so what do you look for in a B camera operator?
I look for somebody paying attention like I do with every job.
Yeah.
I want the boom guy to pay attention. I want the dog grip to pay attention. I want everybody to be as focused as much as I am.
Just to be clear, you're saying to pay attention to the film, not their phone, or
To
is it to anything, or just
to the process of filmmaking.
the job
The filmmaking
that you're
process.
on?
Yes.
Yes.
To what's happening in front of the
Because
camera.
everybody's paying attention. It's just not necessarily to the thing at hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm not even a big fan of phones on set. If I had any say, I'd say keep it in the truck.
I don't disagree.
But I
with you,
do
have
find
to say.
myself, when I see the actor doing it and I see the director
We all
doing it
do.
and I see the DP doing it, then it's like, okay, well, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
But to me, that basically means that you're not paying
You're not
attention.
paying attention. I know.
And now you're focusing on something else that you could do, at lunch, and at the end of the day.
I'll leave it in my backpack a lot, and a lot of times I won't, which I regret after the fact. But sometimes actually, I'll text the DP and go, "Hey, what are you doing over there?"
Yeah, but that's a big one. The pay attention,
Yeah.
even if they're not. I want you to be there for the rehearsal.
Yeah.
Come in for the marketing rehearsal.
Yeah.
Depending on who the DP is, you can give suggestions. Don't feel like you need to come up with a quota. Don't feel like if I don't operate, they're going to not keep me here.
Yeah.
It's like you're here because somebody's afraid that there's going to be a shot at some point. If the DP or the director likes shooting 2 cameras, you're going to know in that first few days. I mean, I feel like at the end of the week, that is the way the show is going to be run.
Yeah.
It's not going to change. You're not going to go faster.
You're going to figure it out.
You're not going to go slower. You're not going to do less coverage, more coverage. That's basically, you've just learned the show that you're on, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
In that first week.
And B camera wise.
Oh, that's it.
B camera wise, are you like, if they have an idea for a shot, do you expect them to like run it by you before they run it by the DP? Because like sometimes I've found, especially younger operators will be like, "Oh, I've got this great idea for this shot," and it's just like,
and it's a shot, not for the scene.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's just like, you have a great idea, but that's actually going to start a whole domino situation. So or whatever. So it's weird because on the one hand, I kind of want them. I'm answering the question, but then I want to hear from you. But I kind of want them to have ownership of it and to be involved in the process the way that I am. But also, I may have a bigger picture of what's going on. So it's how do you feel about that? Do they go to the DP? Do they come to you?
I would love to have them come to both of us.
Yeah.
And usually we are kind of like right there. And in the first week when everybody's trying to figure out, you kind of know in the first day if the DP is cool with the second camera, or if it's a director thing and they want to keep their job.
Yep.
The compromise factor is always going to be there with every camera that you add to the table. So if you add one camera, you're compromising something, whether you're compromising a B to get a little tighter, or maybe we shoot, maybe you talk it through. We shoot the master and then we'll come in with the extra camera when we can get it in there on the same angle.
Yeah.
I would say for sure, don't find a great shot in your head because it's a great shot when the lighting looks really bad.
Yeah.
Learn lighting.
Yep.
Learn that you can't just say this is going to be a beautiful shot, because it has to be a beautifully composed shot, it has to be a beautifully lit shot, and it has to be a beautiful performance. So you need all those elements. And if you're you're getting this shot of somebody, reaching down and grabbing some spaghetti in a plate, find out where the backlight's coming from and make it a food product thing, and just go, I'm not going to even do the actor thing. Go to the DP. Are you planning on doing a shot
I can
here?
sneak in here and grab
And are you
this.
cool being a little bit longer lens than
Yeah.
normal just
Yeah.
for that piece? If he wants to use that as a transition, or you come on it and at the end of the scene, he takes the bite and you come on. I mean, if there's something that's meant to be, just don't do it for a quota. Don't do it because I just hit the table.
Do it because it tells the story, because it propels the edit, because it saves time, because it's something that you can quickly gag.
And it depends on the show. I mean, it really depends on the show, because sometimes it's quantity. I hate those shows. I don't even want to be a part of those shows.
Yep.
You don't really know that till after the first week if you're on those shows. But I think I think you want them to be on your team. Again, it's a collaboration. It's like, if you got this shot, run it by me.
Sure.
If you've never worked with a DP, I've worked with a DP, go ahead and come and talk to me.
Yeah.
I'm cool to have them play low key. They're going to know when they want a B camera.
When they're needed. Yeah.
I think if you volunteer, I think you're better off laying back the same way as I think I am early on a production, to get a feel of how they work. How do you guys work? What do you like to do? Do you like to do a master? Does the master turn into the coverage? Can we, come into the coverage and then slide in the B camera?
Yeah.
volunteer any of that stuff. I'll kind of do it, and maybe at the end of the day, we'll go, well, we did that scene, and we knew we were going to get a single there. Maybe we should have, got that, or maybe we should have been more 3/4 for my camera and wider, and then they did the over.
Come around.
But you're working together, and you're figuring.
Hopefully you're getting that groove. What it comes down to.
And that doesn't happen all the time either. Sometimes it's every scene is a completely different movie.
Yeah.
Where you're thinking, what the hell are we doing? Now we're doing coverage on 100 millimeter, and now we have 3 cameras because it's 5 o'clock and the call was 6 a.m. and now we got to be done in an hour before everybody goes crazy.
Do the last 2 pages.
So now we're doing, the actor's close up, 1 take.
Yep.
With 3 cameras, and you're just going,
this is unfair.
Totally.
It's totally unfair.
It's totally unfair, and it's lazy.
Yeah.
It's really not thinking through the day.
Yeah.
Because there's lots of scenes that we spend a lot of time on there that should be the compromise scene. It's like this, there's the most important scene of the day, and there's the least important scene of the day, and then there's a couple of other scenes that are kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
And you have to sort of, to me, let's start the day with the most important. The actors are fresh, the crew's fresh. How many times do we do the hardest shot of the day?
Oh, it's incredible.
As the sun's going down.
Yeah.
We don't have time to rehearse it. We're on a techno crane and we're going to do this pull out and then boom up and the sun's setting. And it's like, whoa, I need 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I know we don't have it, but just let me give them an A, B, C, D here so that we can kind of rough it in so that it's not a complete, Helen Keller moment.
Yeah. Well, and it's that thing where they walk through the warehouse and then they have the big powwow in the warehouse, and you spend the first half of the day walking them in 12 shots, and you're like, the scene is at the end. It says they walk through the warehouse like, but it's going to be great. We're going to do all these cuts. I'm like, but then you're wasting it all. Or at least shoot it backwards, right? Like shoot the scene and then shoot the walk in the warehouse. But I totally get it.
And then they used 3 of those shots because it took too long.
Because it took too long.
And there was no dialogue.
And of course, by the way, in the edit, they're like, but they're just walking through the warehouse. We don't need all those shots. Yeah, no, I've been there because you're doing all these things. You're like, why are we spending all this time? And I always feel badly because you're looking at the actors going, every shot I do of this takes away one of your takes of your performance for the, denouement for the whatever. Yeah. But and I think the B camera wise, because I do occasionally do B camera, and I sort of like it actually because it's sort of like you can kind of like sneakily get in and get cool stuff. And even though I do agree you're not in the picture as much. There's pluses and minuses. But what I feel that I think is the same as what you were saying about, when you're A camera on the first day, you sort of feel out and you don't jump in right away. B camera is kind of the same thing. It's like I sort of sit back and I go, okay, what do you want? And I kind of wait to hear. And then I'll usually be very, very careful with what my first 2 or 3 suggestions are, because whether they want them or not, it's not as important, but it's more, I need them to see that they're good suggestions. They may not work for their idea or whatever.
Right.
And then you can sort of start going, and well, how about this, how about this, how about this? And they're like, look, stop drinking coffee and go sit on the truck. Yeah. But you want to set up that, okay, I can trust this guy or whatever. I think that's important.
And it depends on the DP too, because if I work with Shelley and I know he's not a 2 camera.
That's also,
DP. And if the director is, then he will be.
Sure.
Then he'll sort of be thinking, how can we do this?
In that situation, would you take the B camera aside and go, look, just so you know what you're walking into?
Oh, totally.
Shelley's not B, but
absolutely.
The director does, so you're gonna be caught there. So okay.
And I'm a big believer in as many people around the question as possible. If it involves the director and involves the DP and involves B camera and involves A camera,
bring them all in.
Don't have the AD come and tell me what the director wants.
Yeah.
And then I set it up, and he comes in and goes, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
And it's like, I want to hear it from you so that you know. And if it comes from, okay, the DP tells me, I set it up. The director comes in and tells me he wants to do this. I go to the DP. Yeah. I go to the DP and say, he wants to do, or she wants me to do this. And are you cool with that? Now, either they've just burnt the bridge and they've given up and they go, whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Or he'll go, okay, hang on a second. And then we all 3 are together.
That's absolute.
And then you fix the problem. The more everybody's on the same page, in person, seeing mouths, everybody's talking, then everybody knows. It's the same way to me of watching a rehearsal. There's nothing worse than having the actor show up late. whether it's on purpose or not, it depends on the show.
Yeah.
And the director is going to tell me what's going to happen. Please, God, don't tell me what's going to happen because it's not going to happen.
Let me watch it.
Let's just wait
Yeah.
for the actor because then they're going to feel bad.
Sure.
When everybody, and they come in and they go, oh, everybody's ready anyway. There's no reason for me to be here.
Well, and then it becomes like, so I never have to be here. So
Yes.
no, I totally.
And I want that input.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's so afraid to even when they're there, it's like, oh my God, we'll get them out of hair and makeup because it's going to take us a half hour.
That's exactly right.
Stop where they are. They can continue. It's not like they have to start over.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to go home and get out of bed again. It's like, no, you don't.
Yeah. And also, this is part of the gig. It's like,
because they're going to want to come in and say, well, I know you want me to go over here to the window, but
I would
if
never
I go
do
to the
that.
window, then they're gonna see me outside the window when we go to the location, and you don't want me to be seen. And then the director's like, oh yeah, the script. It's like, no, that's exactly the script. Oh my God, we have one.
Oh, the story. That's right.
And that's one of those things where you build the routine in that first week.
No, there's
because
it's great that you came back to that because I think that's exactly right. And
at the second week when they say, oh no, we're going to get the actor in there.
Yeah.
At call, you're going to go, no, you're not. You've already established that you're not going to do that.
Yeah. Well, I've had situations before. I can't think of it exactly, but I know it's happened where we've been setting something up and we blocked something out and maybe without the actor, I can't. But it's something where I'll go up to the director and quietly go, hey, we're not seeing the radio in the background. But later on, we have to know that radio is the radio. So shouldn't we tweak it over here? So, oh yeah. And then the actor will find out, why are we changing this? Oh, well, Dave pointed out and then suddenly the actor's like, okay, so I know that I can trust you because you got your eye on the ball. And so that's how you form those alliances.
That's
right?
Totally.
And the reality is, unfortunately, by the end of the first day, the first week, whatever, you're sort of going, okay, these are the 7 people that I can talk to and I can trust. Those people I'm just going to try to work around.
Yeah.
And these people I can kind of work with or whatever. But you do sort of figure out who's in the game and who's not. And even actors, and nothing against them because I think acting, to be honest, is the hardest thing. I can't even imagine it to be that vulnerable and
totally
also learning lines and everything else. But there's some of them who don't want to hear from you and don't want to know you're there. And it's like, okay, well we're not dancing together. I'll dance around you and we'll make that work because that's what it has to be. But that's just the reality. It's what it is.
Yeah.
And you learn that pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're not going to ask anything of them.
Or the worst for me in my experience is that I've had actors that will not talk to the director. And to me that...
Because there's a personality problem there, you're saying? Oh, yeah.
Politics I didn't get this. And I've had an actor...
Or who will do the exact opposite of what the director is asking.
I've had a specific actor who will look at me and go, so Don, what's the coverage for this scene?
Yeah.
I'll be like, I'll just look him right in the eye and go, I'm not really sure. Hang on a second.
Yeah.
While they're standing there, I will turn and walk back to the director and I will say, so-and-so wants to know what the coverage is for this scene. And they'll go, this. And I'll go, okay. And I'll come back. And so I'll be that guy.
Yeah.
I'll still have that rapport.
Oh, this is my new job.
And that's totally fine. Yeah. I won't go, what are you asking me for? Don't make a scene. Don't make a big deal. Let them know that I'm here for you.
But you're not going to be in the middle of it either.
If you want me to go ask, I'll go ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be in the middle. That's fine. If that helps you get to where you need to be, I'm here to help you, even if I'm biting my tongue and blood is coming out of my...
No,
I still know that you're the reason that people will watch this project.
They're not watching because Don Devine's operating.
Well, not anymore. Used to be.
I used to remember
but there was only 3 operators and more dinosaurs than operators.
And there was the card up at the front, a Don Devine pick.
Yes.
So let me ask you this: what do you do when the DP wants X and the director wants Y? And the DP and the director both know that they want the different thing, and each one of them is telling you something different.
I bring them together.
You do.
I say, come out of the tent, come here. You need to come to the camera. I need to talk to you about something.
So you just confront it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally, because I don't want to play that. Because again, it's going to deal with the second, third, fourth, fifth week. that if we set this whatever we set that first week,
Yeah, we're setting a precedent.
is our real guide. Over 50% of what you're going to do the rest of the show.
So you just nip it in the bud right off the bat.
I try to do almost anything that way. If it's a director that's off the set,
Yeah.
I'll try to go through the AD.
Yeah.
And I'll just say, like, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
but I just want you to know that the director and the DP are on a different page. As soon as you can get them both to camera,
Yeah.
I'll be better off and we can move forward.
Yeah.
I'll keep working on what I'm doing, which is kind of a compromise between the two, because I don't want to be. I mean, my job still is to make the DP's job and the director's job easier.
Yeah.
That's really my main job, and probably DP first, but it's a really, really close second. I mean, it's almost two firsts. It's really a director's show, and I think a good DP knows that.
Yeah.
And I think a good operator knows that. I mean, I've been on shows where the director hasn't been that great, and the DP and I will kind of more,
Step up.
just sort of, just to gloss it up a little bit
Yep.
and make the director, there's lots of directors that are still working, because we helped them.
There's no question.
But I still feel that's my job.
Yeah.
I still feel whether you want to help, or you have a phone call that's more important, then I'll sit here and do this.
Yep.
I figure the only problem we have as operators is we have to pee. If we didn't have to pee, I think it would be so much.
Tell me why peeing is a problem.
Peeing is a big problem because it takes like a minute.
Yeah.
And we just don't have that kind of time.
Well, the problem is as you get older, it takes more than a minute, but
Well, it takes an old person minute.
that's right.
It's a difference.
You're right. It's like a biblical minute, which is really like
But the
7
thing
years.
is once you leave the set, and in theory, you're the person that is fixing every problem by the second.
Yeah.
So you've just lost 60 problems
Yeah.
that you have to overtake in that 1 minute that you've sort of will never get back.
Yeah.
And then people decide, well, if Don's not here,
Yeah.
and first of all, the producers are like, what? What do you mean he has to go to the
What?
bathroom? He comes and goes to the bathroom before we start
How dare
shooting.
he.
And at lunch, that's why we have lunch. Well, we haven't broke for lunch yet.
And broken for lunch.
When we break,
Yeah.
and then at
Yeah.
wrap,
Yeah.
And so those other 3 times, which is really crazy because still to this day, I will sit there and just turn just red going, I gotta pee so bad. And again, a good way of bonding with the actors is like you look at them and you go, and inevitably they look at me and they go,
Yeah.
can I have a second? I can go pee. And then I run with the actors and we go,
Yeah.
pee.
But then you come back on set and the dolly's been turned around and there's track going sideways
Yes.
and there's a crane and the camera's undersling instead of oversling. And someone goes, well, we thought this was a good idea while you were gone.
Yeah, it's more. They do more in that amount of time than the whole day. You're just thinking, how'd you guys do that fast?
Yeah.
Were you planning this? Like
Exactly.
waiting for me to like turn away?
There's a PA, but he's just going in the bathroom. Go, and then you're in there, and then it's and you walk back slowly, stop by craft service, and you come in and you're like, wait, this is a crane shot now? How did this happen? Who had this idea? Why are we doing
Yeah.
this?
Or you get like halfway there and you hear Don,
Yeah.
Don, the DP wants to talk to you, and you're like, oh.
There is that.
And then you run back with it like an idiot instead of telling him I'm going to be back there in a minute.
Yeah.
Which I've learned over the years, because God forbid you don't want anybody to wait for you, and that's
God.
always in the back of your head as an operator, that that you need to always be ready.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. I think that that's part of the job.
Yeah.
That's partly why paying attention is super, super important, and to be that focused. I don't know why I am, because most of me is very scatterbrained. But God, I can focus on a shot.
Yeah.
Like an actor can get a line from a director and know somebody can come to me and say, oh, let's do that move during this line, and there's people off the set going, God, how do you know that we're going to do that part in the beginning and then that part is going to change and then that part, and it all just kind of
It's
triggers
just
in.
the way your mind works.
I think it's the way my mind works, and I think it's the way, if the shot makes sense, that's the way to do it. And when you're doing the first take, you're making those notes,
Yeah.
so that if it is a screw up, or if there's something that doesn't quite work, most of the time when a director or a DP comes to me after a take and tells me what they want to do, I already
You're
know.
already ahead of it. Yeah.
I already know, but I'll let them do it because I know that's part of the process.
Yeah.
Instead of going, okay, and let me just do one more. It's like, no, you say it. You say what you want. I mean, if it's something that I screw up and a DP goes berserk or a director goes berserk, it hasn't happened a lot, but it has happened. And the first thing I'll do just to, again, stop the process of being mean, I'll just say that no matter what you say is not going to be as hard on me as me being hard on me. So you can do whatever you want if it helps you. But I know what I did. And I'm already upset. And what you say is not going to make me more upset. There's no way that you can make me more upset than I already am.
Or fix it better than I'm already going to fix it because I feel so horribly that I screwed something up. No, that makes perfect sense. So what that said, what do you do when you have that AD who's constantly going, we gotta go, and you're like, look, we
bring my car around.
We literally just got the crane here. We have to get marks. I mean, just from a safety point of view, we got to figure out where the bucket is. Well, we don't have any time. I mean, what do you do? Because there are those guys.
I either am very tired and get very sarcastic, which is the wrong way of doing it. The right way of doing it, which I so try, is to agree with them. So yes, we do have to go. We have a lot to do, and I understand that. I'm going to need a second here just to get everybody on the right page. So you got to give me that. I know what you need, and it's the only way we're going to get it. If you want to try to get it, that's the way we're going to have to do it. As long as you agree with them, or as long as you acknowledge their problem, that's your problem, but it's not really your problem. And basically they're saying it because the producer,
someone's pushing,
likes it when they push, because we go faster when somebody pushes us.
Maybe I sort of do that, I guess. I think what I usually do is I go, if we have to go, then we probably just don't have time to do this shot, so maybe we should just change the shot. And I'm not being actually sarcastic with them. I think sometimes they think I am, but I'm like, this is going to take this amount of time, so we should figure out if we can't do it or not. And I think sometimes they'll actually get upset at me because they're like, it's just like, I know that we have to go. Like, I understand that. I mean, part of my job is to be as fast as possible, right? But there are things that have to happen.
It's also one of those things where I think the going forward part of, we can talk about this and I can tell you that we're going to be in trouble, but that's going to take like 5 minutes. And then for me to show you is going to be 10 minutes. And I think I can be ready to do it in 10 minutes. So if I just say, I know we got to go fast. I have 3 things to do. Go ahead and bring the actor out. Start working that. We don't have to do one thing at a time. I can work with this so that when we get all that, as long as you're rolling that ball forward, I feel like everybody sort of gets more into it. Like, okay, we're not like
something's happening. We're accomplishing something. And the thing that I'm now realizing that I'm thinking about it, I think usually what I'll do is after those altercations, and I don't want to call them altercations, but you know what I'm talking about, is usually at a quiet time, I'll go up to the AD and I'll go, look, I didn't mean, you have a job and I have a job. I wanted to let you know that I understand that we have to go. And that's usually when I can gauge who they are. Because if they're obnoxious at that point, I'm like, okay, we're just going to do this all show, and I'm going to dig my heels in. And
again, it's another person that you're going to have to deal with the whole show. So you're not going to be able to fire the first AD.
No.
You're not going to be able to fire the dolly grip.
You got to work with them.
The thing is that you got to figure out, how am I going to do this? And it's hard. I mean, there's been times when it's been like, I don't know if I can do this. But I like the project and I like the director and I like the DP.
I better figure something out.
And maybe they're going to fire him. I mean, everybody else is watching this. If they're the weak link, we either deal with that, and it becomes part of the process. But I just feel in the long run, it's better that you can say good morning to people in the morning and say goodbye to people in the end of the day, and say thank you very much for a good day. That one scene was great. Those extras were great. I'm glad you brought that up about those crosses. Just giving a little attaboy at the end of the day goes a long way. I mean, I know just from coming to me, just DPs and directors that have said thank you.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm just like,
I did
shucks.
something. Yeah.
Oh, golly jeepers. Oh, God. Then I better not tell you it's my last day.
Yeah, exactly. Well, but the AD thing, the other thing that I've done, again, because as we talk, I think about it, is a lot of times early on, I'll go, hey, how many hours did you have down for this scene? We got 3 hours. And oh, well, that's all. Okay, let me see if I can help you.
Yeah.
Let me know when you're up against it so we can try to shorten this or whatever. And then at least they think, you are on their side, but at least they I guess the better thing is at least they recognize that you recognize that they have something hanging over their head.
Right.
So that hopefully when they come and go, we got to go. And you're like, I know, but we have a crane shot. I need 15 minutes to move the base. Well, why do we have to move the base? Like, just because we have to move the base. Yeah. Trust me, I'm not going to.
And the thing is if you can get that done in the first week where you can say,
exactly,
after you've gone through that cluster,
establish
that you can go up to them and just go, we can't do this. I'm going to say first thing in the morning when we're setting up the first shot, right after you have your safety meeting, that basically we talk about the shots we're doing for the day and not safety. Yeah. But that's a whole nother story. I'm going to say, we got to go. I'm going to say it before we even shot anything.
Yeah.
We got to go. We got a lot to do today, guys. Because if we get that momentum going, we're going to be done by lunch.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we don't. We lollygag. Yep. We do way too much coverage on the scene that doesn't matter, knowing that the magic hour scene is going to be 4 shots. We should be rehearsing that, beforehand so we can, leapfrog and get everybody in the right position.
Yep.
The pre-planning, but it also from an AD point of view, they need a good director too.
No question about it.
If they have a weak director and then you have a, crazy AD, it's just total chaos.
It's chaos. It's exactly right.
And again, you got to work with that chaos. I mean, it's personalities and you just, and to me, I think an AD, especially one that goes through the whole prep process, which is most of them do. That's what they do for a living. Well, but they know all the scenes and they know the order and they know what we're doing and they know how long a setup takes.
Yep.
Nobody talks about that.
No.
It's not like, okay, we have to do 50 setups. Okay, do you know how long each setup takes?
Yep.
Because we can't do 50 setups.
No.
So why are you even saying we're going to do 50
Or the
setups?
thing where it's like, the thing that gets me lately is you'll go up and you'll be like, everybody knows this day is undoable, right? Like, we're not going to make the day. And it's like, oh, yeah, totally. I'm like, then why is it on the call sheet? Because the thing is, you get 9 scenes, and we know we're only going to get 5 of them, but we're going to jam through those as if we're going to do 9.
Yeah.
Like, why don't we just have well, that's someone, and that's a different, that's on a different level than I am. It drives me nuts.
Time permitting, I think, is the thing that should not even have a space.
Time never
on
permits.
A call sheet. Well, yeah, you never get to it.
No.
And if you get to it, then you decide, do we really want to go past 12 hours and go to the time? And what's time permitting mean? That nobody's got hurt yet?
Yeah.
We're gonna wait till somebody gets hurt.
Well, and also after, I think 10 hours, to be perfectly honest, you're doing, the quality of work goes down exponentially as the hours go up. So it's like by the time you're in your 13th or 14th hour, you're actually losing time.
Yeah.
It just makes
well,
no
you
sense.
are and I am.
Yeah.
Because we have to perform.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are already sleeping on the trucks and
there's no question
that don't have to be there. It's like, we can just have one prop person after 12 hours. Yeah. We don't need 2. We need 2 for the day.
Or the hair and makeup people who are down their 16th hour or whatever. I don't even know how they do it. It's ridiculous. So tell me about Barry. Tell me working on Barry. I just want to know how great it is.
It is. It's one of the ones that that you dream about, that you just cannot believe. Not only was it it's so sad because it's finished. It's not like, oh God, I can't wait till next season. It's over, and there's at this time of talking to you, it's got 2 more episodes. Did you watch yesterday?
I didn't watch it yet. Okay. I'm so excited to watch it. So don't say anything about it.
Save it for sure.
But what from what I understand, Bill Hader is a complete auteur, right?
He's a filmmaker.
And how involved in the process are you?
Not much, except at the moment.
Yeah.
When we're rolling and it's my turn, then I have to get it.
So he comes in with these ideas fully formed or 80% formed.
Sometimes 50% formed, and then we, Carl will figure out, what piece of equipment to work, and he'll
That's cool.
talk to me about how do we do this and the key grip. We'll decide on, what piece of equipment are they thinking of?
Yeah.
What are we carrying? what do we, how do we need to do this? I mean, that one video that Carl sent me that I was showing you of that shot is different because the blocking is a little bit different. It's like we come past her back and then she comes back and then we pull back. I mean, and we did some of that stuff and then we revised that of, well, why are we doing that and that?
Yeah.
So, and he's really, really good at making those decisions in the moment of like, why isn't that working? Why isn't that the way?
Yeah.
I know that I said to do it this way, but that doesn't make sense. Why are they coming forward? Why don't they just stay there and say that line?
So he's got
push in.
He's got his ideas, but he's open when you get into the real world of throwing them out for something better.
Totally. Yeah. And he will figure it all out. I mean, you might have a suggestion of some sort, but on the day, he's figuring it out even before you're figuring it out. You're figuring out the technical problems and he's figuring out the aesthetic problems.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why don't we bring the camera over here? So if we do this, why don't we do that? And then it's like, oh, we did another problem solved.
That's great. That's fantastic.
It's not like, this is the way that I want it, and this is the way we're going to do it, and this is the way that it works.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to see the process because it doesn't happen very often where the story is so unbelievable.
Yeah.
And you get to shoot the unbelievable story.
And the actors are so unbelievable. Yeah. And you've got a storyteller that's it's amazing.
And your wide lenses and your close, you're doing close-ups 2 feet away.
Yeah.
I remember the first shot after, I think it was the second day. So it was after that big shot. That first day or the second day when I think it was Sarah who was like 2 feet away from the front element.
Yeah. And
we started there and then we did sort of this slow pullback and then we took her over around to sit on the table or sit in the chair next to the table. And I think it was the second or third day because I said, is this uncomfortable? Because every actor that I work with has a real problem with this. And she said,
with being so close to the lens.
She says, I'm so used to this that they've, not only am I used to it, but I like it. I like being that close. And I like for you to put a piece of tape so that my eye line can be like just off of the element.
Wow.
And the thing is, because I'm just, not used to that.
It's not a normal thing an actor.
And somebody says to do that, and I go, well, we should make sure that it's okay.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we can bring the actor like behind the dolly.
Yep.
I know they're a little farther away,
lose the map box or whatever.
Shoot just right over it, but we still won't be able to get it. And there's that if it's something that they really want, but you knew in the first week that you could tell Henry to do that. You could tell Bill to do that. You could tell Sarah to do that. Well, they wanted to do that.
She also probably has 3 years of realizing that close looks good on her because she looks good in everything.
Yeah. That's
her her fear, right?
That's her
look weird.
She
looks great.
That's her character.
That's amazing. And one of the things that I love about that show is that they're not afraid. They don't have to show everything, right? Like you don't have to have a cutaway to everything. The story, people understand it. It sort of reminds me of, I think, the second or third episode of West Wing, and it's a different reason. But I remember talking to Tommy Shalami and saying, "Are you worried that this is like too intelligent for America?" I mean, but just how fast it was and this and that. And he said, "I don't care that they're going to have to. They're going to have to step up." And I sort of feel like this is the same way. Is you have to work for the information a little bit. I mean, that great shot that I love that I told you about and that you talked about in the breakdown, where it comes through the house and sees the thing coming through the glass and it's all one into the kitchen and all that. It's just. You gotta pay attention and you gotta listen and I just watched it again and there's that great thing where he's not Winkler's character Fred, where Fred finally comes in front of the camera and the dog barks and he's like, oh, there's a dog, or maybe Winkler says it, but it's just
funny. He says it.
It's hilarious.
So there's a dog here and then he leaves frame and his next line is, you hear pots and pans, and then he comes through. There's a kitchen.
There's a kitchen.
So he's basically giving information that we already know because we've heard it.
But it's great because he's sort of like this bumbling, like I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm trying to find. So it works.
And his character is that he's Henry's agent.
Yeah.
And Henry doesn't work.
Yeah.
So he was his agent when he was an actor. And
There's just so much stuff in that. And then when she finally comes in, of course, I'm saying this on a podcast. Nobody knows what I'm talking about, but whatever. I don't care. And when she comes in the door and she turns to the side and looks off camera and she goes, Gene Cousineau? And then he walks in and he goes, hi, I'm Gene Cousineau. So there's so much good. And then actually the other thing that I love is, and then they come together in that final frame, and there's that great noise that Fred makes when he throws the TV or the computer into the pool. It's just all so perfect. It's great. But again, another show would have just covered the hell out of it and cut it up, and it wouldn't have been interesting.
No,
it would have just been information,
and we would have spent all day doing that.
Yeah,
and just setting that up and preparing the window. I think we broke maybe 3 windows.
Yeah,
and the reset on the window was maybe 20 minutes.
Sure,
something. Reset of a window is, but during those 20 minutes, we were like fixing all the other little pieces and ironing out the rest of it, so that when they were ready, we were ready, and we did another one. But just to do it that way, we probably did it in 4 hours ish.
It's great, and so much of that was also your dolly grip. Like, who's your dolly grip on that show?
Jim Wickman.
Yeah.
Who was also the dolly grip on both seasons of Perry Mason. Okay,
so you have because so much of that is his timing and just because there's it's like this, it speeds up at a point and it slows down at a point,
and you're turning the dolly to make that 180.
That 180,
which basically you're trying to hide that. It's like, Jim, if you could wait till I get there, or do your move, and hopefully you can land before we start going forward.
Yeah.
So during that moment, as soon as I start to come off the window, go ahead and start turning, and just make it real subtle, because my move's pretty slow.
Yeah.
And we'll figure out how long my move is. The last take, Bill wanted it to be a little bit quicker. I was a little bit more let it play, which is kind of more Barry anyway. Just let it play, let the audience sort of absorb. But he said it's probably just a teensy bit too long.
Yeah.
I go, I'll pick it up just a bit, and then everybody focuses on that. Okay, so the move's going to be a little faster, Don? Yeah, the move's going to be a little faster. And you know why? Because I'm going to pan a little faster.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Nobody else has to know.
Yeah.
Now the word's out.
Yeah.
It's all on me. So you don't have to tell anybody else. We don't have to talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, I know. I got the 53 notes, and they're all that we need to get there a little faster.
Yep. So I know you're on headsets with him on that. You use headsets when you operate conventionally?
No.
God,
I think I've been on 2 shows with headsets, 3 shows. I was actually on a headset on a show with Kramer Morgenthau as the DP in Atlanta.
Yeah.
The Darkest Minds.
Okay.
And then I was on a walkie headset with Shelley on Greyhound, because he couldn't communicate with me in the pilot house, even though they were just they were on the gimbal also.
It was a physics thing.
It was kind of a physics thing, and I know
story.
And again, Shelley knew that we're not going to talk.
Yeah.
Unless I need to talk, and it's not going to be during a take.
You don't have to come out of the wheelhouse to go talk to him, whatever. No, that
and the
makes
notes
sense.
will be, on the side, and the first AC had it. The first AC was on the pilot house gimbal also. Probably worse than what at least I'm looking through the eyepiece, so I'm in make believe land.
Oh,
and he's looking at a monitor with all this stuff happening. It's like watching a Steadicam monitor where you're moving around and you're seeing all this other crap. I mean, to me, I still love to use an eyepiece, because I just don't like reality. I don't want to know the problems before they become problems. You
just want to watch the movie.
I don't want to see these people running around the camera, or somebody about to walk in the shot. Either they walk in the shot or they don't walk in the shot. I don't want to know what might happen. I just want to be. I want to be the audience. I really want to.
Yeah.
I really want to be in that little, and probably because I again go back to one camera, focus on one shot to tell the story. The coverage. I mean, you look at those films. I mean, I've been doing it long enough, which I hate saying, but it's funny because I look at those earlier movies. I look at the Fred Murphy movies. I mean, Hoosiers today would have 3 to 4 or 5 times as many pieces of coverage. I mean, you can see if you watch it today.
Scenes play
like in a locker room.
Yep.
Gene Hackman comes in and he sits down and he gives this whole speech in this wide shot, and you're just going, "This is fantastic."
Yeah.
And today you wouldn't even be on that shot for more than a second.
Yep.
You'd be working your way all the way into like a chin eyebrow.
Yeah.
And to me, I hate chin eyebrows. I'm like, guys, save this for Law and Order.
Yeah.
Let them own that.
Yeah.
Let's do something else that, we have to think about. Think about it. Don't just fall into it. Falling into it is the easy way.
Yeah.
I think, the hard part is, how would I do this that warrants doing it for the story?
Yeah. That's
it doesn't even have to be different.
No.
It's just like
It has to work.
And usually it's not different. Usually you can say, oh my God, this is the shot that they did in 8.5 or Fellini.
Everything's been done before on some level.
Pretty
right?
much at some level. Yeah.
Well, you may not remember it, but it absolutely has. All right. The other movie that I promised I would talk to you about is the Christopher Guest movie, The Big Picture.
The Big Picture.
So wait, so you are the operator who did that snap zoom and adjust over. Now, for anybody who doesn't know, The Big Picture is about like AFI, right? But it's not AFI, but it's sort of about AFI and these grad students making movies.
Yeah.
And one of them gets a deal to make a movie, I think. Is that Kevin Bacon?
Yep.
It's been such a long time. But the best part of the movie is it shows their final films, I guess.
There's like either 4 or 5 final
and
films.
It's like every
and we shot all the 5.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's every bad movie trope that there
Yes.
is. And the best one is that there's a smash zoom in, but you miss the guy and then reframe
And there's a
over
beat,
and find him. There's
too.
a beat. And
It was like, oops.
Yeah.
It was an oops
But
moment.
the great thing is the camera operator, you can see the, wait, what? Oh, he's over here.
Yes.
It's so good.
And that was sort of before. Did we have video assist on that?
I bet you didn't. I mean, that must have been like 1989, 1990?
I think it was 89, 88 or 89. Yeah. So we might have had it, but it would have been pretty mediocre.
Yeah.
But I remember Chris Guest, the director, who's fantastic. Again, he's just incredibly dry, incredibly nice, and brilliant.
I love that.
And just to want to do it. I mean, even but the shots before where it's June Lockhart, I think, might have played
It's been a while, maybe.
with Elliot Gould.
Oh, Elliot Gould. Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Is
That's right.
like
Yeah,
the attorney.
Yeah.
And looks at her and says something, and then we cut to her with like a Mitchell 58.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like the most diffused. You could barely tell
Like
it was
you barely tell
like a
what it
human
is.
being.
I remember this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so great.
And then
I gotta watch it
Stephen
again,
Collins.
I don't remember that.
Is that a name?
Is that the judge?
No, the attorney that stands up, and that's because he stands
what
up,
it is.
and then
the zoom,
it's like tilt up,
yeah.
and then wait a beat, and then smash the zoom. So they did the zoom. The assistant did the zoom.
Yeah.
Full speed.
Yeah.
And I just had to sort of remember where it was going to be. So when he stood up, I just sort of made sure I was framed
Not on
with
him.
on him, so that when it happened, that was that, and then it was back to me to find
it's the
it.
funniest shot. In the world.
I think, and I haven't seen it in a long time either. And I should probably look at it because I think I was laughing.
Yeah,
too.
I'll bet.
I think when he stood up, I think I was laughing, but even in anticipation. And then it happened, and I have to say, I haven't done a lot of laughing on set. Barry is another one that I have to be super careful.
I bet.
Of shaking the camera.
I bet.
Especially because we're so wide and close, and
Right.
and and they ad lib stuff,
And they're
every
so
now and
good. Yeah, sure.
now and then, and but yeah, that was fun, and I think there was 4. I think there was one that we did on 16 millimeter. I mean, that was
They're all pretty
reading the
different.
script.
I
It
remember
was,
there's one that's like just so black and white and like
Yes.
avant-garde.
Yes.
And the thing about it is it's so pretentious.
Yes.
And there's also, and maybe it's in the same one as the snap zoom, there's a really good / bad dolly zoom in one of them, as I remember. Like, that just pushes into him and goes wide or something like that, where the background changes. I just remember something like that. But it's so good because it's like he went to film school and looked at all the things that someone would do to make oh, they're gonna think I'm so cool when I do this and when I do that, and he put them all into one movie. It's great.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic.
no, it was
movie.
wonderful, and that was
jealous.
one of Martin Short's first.
Oh, Martin Short.
He-
I gotta watch it.
He was
again
Kevin
now.
Bacon's agent.
Yes, his agent.
And I remember talking with him about doing something technical, and he said, "I don't even know what you're talking about." I mean, he was so
About the shot, you mean?
about the shot, or it's like, you know what? I'm just going to do what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And then that's when I realized, okay, you need the room, and I don't need to say anything anymore.
Yeah.
again, I was cracking up because I think one of his lines that I loved was, he's got a pile of scripts that Kevin Bacon's supposed to read, and he says, I've read almost all these scripts almost all the way through. Out loud.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And I'm just like, and Kevin Bacon just takes a second and goes, okay.
It's a great, for anybody who hasn't seen the big picture, you should go see the
I'm not sure if it would hold up.
It might
but it's
not,
funny because there is that time of probably 20 years after that, that film student, I mean, there'd be like a 10-year period from like 89 to maybe 2000 where I would be on a show and they go, you work on the big picture.
Yeah. No. It's absolutely right. And well, the other thing is it came out at a time for me that was like right when I came to Los Angeles. So I was like, oh my God, this is what I'm trying to do, and it's making fun of it. It's just, oh man, it's so unbelievably funny. That's one of those movies where I'm like, I'm jealous you worked on that movie. Work-life balance. You do something on the side.
I do watercolors.
Yeah. And how long have you been doing that?
Painter. God, I think probably from high school.
Really?
It's funny. I did sort of drawing when you could draw because you could get pencils and paper and then I kind of got into oils and kind of liked that. And then I got married and kept doing oils in the garage. And my wife came home from work one day and went, what is that smell? Oh my God, we can't have that permeating through the house.
You could have been someone. And she said, no, nowhere else.
Well, then I just, as we all do, fix the problem.
Yeah.
I just thought, watercolors are quite the challenge, if not impossible.
Yeah.
And I thought, but at least there won't be a smell.
Sure.
So why not try it?
Yeah.
And I tried it and kind of fell in love with it. I was getting a little bit too photorealistic with my oil paintings, and I kind of am that way with the watercolors, but you can't be as much because
you won't get there.
You won't get there, and it's also what's the word I'm looking for? It's a transparent medium, so you're never going to get the blacks
Oh, I see what you're saying.
that you would get from an oil.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly in my head seeing everything with more contrast.
Yeah.
And trying to get to that place, whether it's have more highlights because the highlights are the papers instead of like oils where you'd paint the white.
Yeah.
Now you have to sort of protect the white and not destroy the white and don't get the darks into muddy land before.
Yeah.
So you try to find a happy medium there, but
is it a decompression? I mean, do you do, obviously you love doing it, but does it sort of,
it's something that I need to do both things professionally.
Uh-huh.
When I'm working, I can't wait to do a watercolor. And when I'm doing a watercolor, I can't wait to be working. and because of the collaboration and the notes from so many people, to go from that big of an environment to this smallest of environments where it's all mine.
Okay.
I'm in total control, whether I do well or screw it up or it's not what I want, but it's mine. And to go from that, I love, but I could never do just that.
Interesting.
I may have to do just that at some point because I may not be able to do the.
Do you ever have your wife come in and sit next to you and go, we have to go. We have to go. we don't have time for that, but we have to go.
No, but she does come in towards the end when I'll ask her opinion because I start to get so.
Like to know when you're done?
Kind of like that, and to see what looks the way that I think it's supposed to.
And she goes, that's not a dog. That's
exactly.
That's a cat.
Exactly. Or, okay, well, then it's a cat. Or again, back to Barry. It's like, doesn't matter. It's what I am doing. And I've learned through watercolors, which I've also sort of passed on to filmmaking, is that once I'm done with it, I can't worry about it anymore.
You gotta let go.
Once I'm done with the painting, if somebody else loves it and they want to buy it, and then it's theirs, and they can see whatever they're not going to see what I saw while I was doing it.
They'll reinterpret it.
They'll reinterpret it, and everybody who sees it will reinterpret it. And the
Oh, nice.
same way with our work.
Yeah.
You know, we do it and we think that this would be the best way to cut it, and it never is.
Yeah.
It's different, but the emotion hopefully is there, and sometimes it is, and sometimes it's not. But I can't just go, oh God, I'm never going to do that kind of a piece of coverage again because they'll use it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
which in my mind, I always feel, and I love working with directors that don't want to do that B camera shot or don't want to do.
I'll never use that. I
Those
don't want
three
to give
other.
them that.
I want to do what are the 4 shots
Yep.
that we need to tell this story?
Yep.
Or 3 shots
Mhm.
or 1 shot. I mean, but do we really need to do 16?
Yeah.
Basically that's telling me that you're not sure and you've been giving so many notes that now we're doing this for notes and that everybody's going to be happy because somebody dreamed of something at somewhere else where
Yeah. You're feeding too many masters,
It's-
basically, as opposed to making your own story.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and of course they're, instead of dealing with it, they're like, well, I just need to do it to give it to them so that they have the options.
Yeah.
It's like,
Which, of course, they're going to use.
it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
then you're going to have, 15 cuts in
Yeah.
30 seconds.
Absolutely. No,
Or
absolutely.
more.
And but so as far as, is that basically what you do to decompress then, the painting?
I think that's part of it, except to decompress, it takes me almost a week
After a show?
after a show just to sort of
Calm down.
just do nothing.
Yeah.
And then it takes almost another week to come up with a project because it takes me about 4 weeks to finish a watercolor from start to finish. It takes me about a week to come up with something that I can live with for a month
Okay.
and know that I'm going to have 4 months or 4 weeks off.
Yeah.
So it's
So you paint in between projects. You don't paint. You don't come home and paint.
No.
It's one or the other.
it's a total different channel.
I gotcha.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a
interesting.
pay-per-view for sure.
and back to, you were saying you can let go of your watercolor because someone's going to take it and put it on their wall and take what they want. On the flip side, when you finish Barry, and do you watch your stuff?
Oh, absolutely.
When you watch it, can you let go, or do you watch it and go, oh God, I really did, that wasn't a take, or
A
I
little,
wish I'd done this.
a little of both.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, I don't think I'm ever totally happy.
Yeah.
But I have to look at it as a whole and as not as like if you start breaking it down. But it is. But the first airing or the first showing, first time I see it,
Yeah.
is kind of mixed because I'm not just looking at it like reading the script. It's not like
Yeah.
I'm seeing what I've done and I'm critiquing it a little bit while we're doing it. So it's the first time I'm seeing a cut,
Yeah.
which is another thing that bumps me out. I would love to see, the process of a show of, even though I've been in that and I do know that process and I'm glad that I learned that first. I think every director should spend more time in the editing room, and I think every producer should
No
spend
question.
more time, and I think every production manager and AD should spend more time.
So they
And-
understand what the decisions actually mean.
Absolutely. Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, not because he said that we're going to do it,
Yeah.
but because this is what accentuates this part of the story.
Yeah.
We need that push in at the end of the scene. That's a priority.
Yeah.
And
And also, you see all that stuff we're not putting in the cut.
Yes.
That's all money and time right there that we could have had.
Yeah.
That's interesting. What about projects that you have done that you don't think got the credit that they just, not credit, that haven't gotten the spotlight they deserve,
or didn't find the audience.
or didn't find the audience, or
At
nobody
the
saw,
time.
or that you just think are better than they have been given credit for, or anything that you're super proud of that people wouldn't necessarily. Barry is, people have heard of Barry. It's
I always wanted to do Teletubbies the movie. I know that probably doesn't count. I would say probably Panic is a movie that that just had a lot of heart. Everybody that was working on it was well written. It was well directed by Henry Bremel, who's passed away since, which is a shame. He was kind of a genius, a really good writer, very good director. One of those guys that committed to the look of the show and didn't chicken out, which doesn't happen very often. Usually you'll talk about this. Jeff Jur was the DP. He was like, Don, it's going to be an anamorphic show. We're going to let things play. We're not going to do a lot of coverage. I'm going, I've heard this before.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Then why are we doing these close-ups?
But while he's saying that, I've read the script, and that script,
It plays that way.
yeah, it's a slow-moving, slow process.
Yeah.
It's not fast. You're getting little bits of information to propel you to the next scene, just enough to get you to the next scene and the next scene.
Yeah.
And it was an amazing cast, just amazing
Yeah.
group of actors that you could have shot it any way you wanted to.
Yeah.
It could have been a oneer movie if that's what he wanted to do.
Because they could pull it off and tell the story.
Because they would have been able
That's
to
amazing.
know all the lines and know all the nuances. And yeah, it was one that I was super, super proud of. And then of course it was a union show, tier 53, however many times you cry. Very, very, I think it was book pre-tier.
Yeah. John Lindley once told me when they got to tier 0, I was like, well, at least they can't get lower. And he goes, no, there are negative numbers. It's like,
Yeah,
and that doesn't stop.
At least there's no more crying. At least no more tears, I think, is better than tears.
Yeah,
So
yeah, there you go. Tier negative 62. And you mentioned Jeff Jur, because we talked about Shelley Johnson, but Jeff Jur is the other DP you've worked with a lot.
Jeff Jur is
That's where you and I met.
huge in my heart.
Because you and I worked on Invasion together.
Did
And
we do that first, or did we do
the first thing
Joyride?
we did was Joyride, because I came in and I played Steadicam on Joyride.
That's when I met you, I think.
Yeah, and then you got me on Jurassic Park 3 with Shelley.
Okay.
And then we did Invasion, the pilot for Invasion.
Okay.
Yeah, but so that's a collaboration that you guys have done a lot of stuff together.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you said it's different than working with Shelley.
It is different, but not in a bad way.
Yeah.
And I think that's what taught me how to be a good operator right out of the gate.
Assuming you're a good operator.
Well, I'm just going by what people say.
Yeah, no, I understand. There's a lot of information.
And I'm talking about the film business. So if people could see me now, they'd see that my nose is 3 times what it's been before.
I'm sorry, but I interrupted you. So yeah,
Oh, no, you didn't.
Working with Jeff Jur.
Shelley, and which was great because my first show was Shelley, and it was a 1-camera show, and he knew exactly what he wanted, and the director and Shelley were on the same page. And so when we set stuff up and we set shots up, it was very precise, and framing was very precise. Like,
Yeah.
this is the frame that I want in the beginning. Look through the eyepiece. Okay. And then when you come around, when you bring them around, this is where I want to end.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was very structured.
Which is your first film. That was probably helpful. Right?
Very helpful, I think. If
I
it
always
was
have
a
to
little,
connect the dots.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was a lot more of that. I realized that, hey, there's stuff during the scene where I can't do that as quickly because they're stopping now.
Yeah.
So we have to come to a stop, and then we
Yeah.
talk. So when they come here and they pause here, do we want to keep drifting, or do we, so it keeps that sort of inertia forward.
Yeah.
And then the first show I worked with Jeff Jur, both of them are just such wonderfully warm human beings.
Agreed.
And I couldn't have been luckier to say, these are the 2 people that I know will stick up for me no matter what happens.
Absolutely.
If I'm going to get fired, they're probably going to get fired too.
We're driving home together.
And if they go, I'm going for sure. There's no
Yep.
way I'm sticking around here
Yep.
without them, because they were both watching my back. But Jeff's show, the reason he wanted an operator is the production manager came to him. It was a miniseries when they actually, again, back when they did miniseries.
Yeah.
You can Google that.
Yeah.
And it was sort of, the director said it was going to be handheld. Jeff said, oh God, do I really want to do that for a 3-night miniseries?
So you were brought in for the...
So, and here, this goes back. It's funny because there's always somebody who hooks you up with somebody else, or down the line, somebody has heard something from you who somebody knows. But Marilyn Bailey was the script supervisor on Hoosiers, and she was also the script supervisor on Dirty Dancing. That Jeff did, that I didn't do.
Jeff did. Yeah.
It was before I knew him, because this was after Dirty Dancing hadn't been released, and Jeff was looking for an operator, and Marilyn said, I think Don's operating now. I should introduce you guys. You guys would hit it off. And Jeff was like, oh, great. So Jeff called me, and again, it was this weird, he didn't want to see anything. He said, Marilyn says that you're great. I'd love to have you do this show if you want to do it. And I said, it sounds interesting. Do you want to meet? He says, no, I'll just see you Monday on the set. And I'm like, I mean, that's so Jeff.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Because if you know him,
yeah.
it's like, why would I,
Yeah.
what's going to change that we can't do over the phone?
Yeah.
And I showed up, I think our first day was at USC. I don't even think we did handheld that much. It might have been maybe 30%, 25%. But it was great because Jeff is sort of, and that show was the beginning of Jeff kind of, it was both Shelley and Jeff, I was their first operator that they've ever worked with. They'd operated the stuff before me, and then I came on. So again, another miracle that I could work with two different people.
Yeah.
And have them both think that I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the mystery that we try to do all the time.
And they still feel that way, which is
well,
astonishing.
I'm not sure
you
if
think
there's...
You think it's just sort of like they're helping you out?
It might be a government subsidy.
Government subsidy. Just getting checks to keep you
It's
working.
Of course I want to use Don Devine.
Yeah.
What, are you kidding me? $5,000 a week?
That's exactly right.
But he
is...
was so much more of a collaborator and just open to suggestions.
Yeah.
You know, Jeff Bleckner was the director, who was wonderful. But I love both of them dearly, and because of those extremes, I also feel like they've both kind of come a little bit more centered.
Uh-huh.
You know, there's certain moments when Shelley has I think Greyhound was a perfect example of, I'm glad I've worked with Don this long, and I knew what he was going to go for.
Yeah.
This was a show that we would have probably not been too keen on 20 years ago.
Greyhound is the World War II Tom Hanks
handheld.
Yeah, handheld.
Yeah.
And
because that's what made the most sense story-wise.
Sure.
We both kind of looked at each other like, and it was like, well, maybe we could figure out how to bring a crane arm in here. And it's like, yeah, but the gimbal's going. And Shelley's like, I don't even think the gimbal's going to work. The gimbal didn't work till like the first day.
Of course not.
We did tests and we were like flying all over the thing, holding on, going.
The gimbal underneath the boat, you're saying, in the wheelhouse.
On the set.
Yeah.
And I think he thought and was selling me on the idea that we were just going to have to create.
We're going to have to create the movement.
The movement.
Yeah.
And then, of course, after that first day and that first week, we knew that we were wrong, and we were not going to do any Steadicam. We were not going to do any easy rig. We were not going to do any sort of
just lean into it.
It's
basically
old school.
Yep.
With the camera on your shoulder. We're doing a documentary. The only bad part was it was HD, and so the directors have a tendency to go back to one. And my more so than not my balance just started to get just like, there was times of, when you go out on a boat and you come back to shore and you're a little, I get back to the hotel room and just kind of go, whoa.
I'll bet.
Whoa.
No, I'd have a big problem with that. But it's interesting you say that with digital and the going back to one. One of my big things when I'm doing a big shot, when you're doing a small shot, it's not as big, but when you're doing a big shot with a lot of points and a lot of cues and whatever, the time in between cut and roll again is usually when I sort of mentally walk back through the shot and go, okay, when I come around this corner, I got to fix this order. But when you're resetting, you're still in the shot and you're sort of trying to think of it, but you're walking back and you're holding the camera and all that's lost. It drives me nuts.
And you're concentrating too much on being exhausted.
Exactly. It's not.
And can I even hold this?
Yeah. And I find even the actors, like some of them are like, I don't want to break this thing. And it's just like, no, but sometimes that's good. Yeah. Because it resets and whatever. Yeah. It's a whole frustration.
Knowing that I had my dolly grip watching out for me all the time. I think I only hit my head one time because a lot of times to walk in past stuff, you had to like duck down a little bit.
I was watching that. It's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
a nightmare for me.
That would have been really hard. Yeah. Actually, it would have been a good show for a short operator.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it was interesting, but interesting in a good way. It was definitely one that I'm proud of. just because now I have the handheld movie.
Yeah, exactly, and it's a good movie.
And I did it in my 60s, which is, I mean, I have to be perfectly. No, I did. It was 60 degrees.
60 degrees, 60 millimeters, 60 something else. 60 degrees.
It was in the 60s when it was written.
This is 67 degrees, but there's a go. Yeah.
But the weird thing was that it was you could do 4 or 5 takes.
Yeah.
On the same rolling because the gimbal's going and you don't want to stop that
makes
God
sense.
forbid.
Yeah.
So even if it was just going to one and it was just, walking 20 feet, I would take the camera off and give it to him.
And give it to him.
We'd walk back.
Yep.
I'd take a breath.
Yeah.
I'd take a second, look at the actors. You guys ready? We're good.
Yep.
Put it back on.
And then
yell set again. And then we just go, and occasionally, when I first started doing it, it was like, what's going on? What's going on? And I go, hang on a second.
Yeah,
We're just getting back to one,
Yeah.
In a safe manner.
That's the moment where Steve would go, I just have to tie my shoe. I'm tying my shoe. But
I also know that if you bring up the word safe and the word lawyer, those two are kind of key phrases to bring up at any time on a set when you're tired.
So I'll counter that slightly with, I like to go, I'm worried that there might be a safety issue and that there could be a liability on your part. Liability.
You use both of them.
When I say liability, there are people at Warner Brothers corporate who stand up and go, wait, what? Who said what?
Yeah.
And I'm 10 miles away. And
they're at home eating dinner with their families.
Yeah,
and
they're like, wait, someone said liability. It's like the bat signal.
What did I hear?
But no, it is kind of amazing, and I keep that in the back of it. It's the same kind of thing. Like when I'm trying to pitch a shot, I'll throw in like, this is really organic. That's one word I'll throw in because directors really like that. See, now this is the part that I have to cut out because I don't want to let them know it.
I'll use it.
But yeah, no, it's like this is really organic. This is natural. But all right, I'm going to ask you probably 2 more questions, and then we're going to, because of the 7 people who actually listen to this, 8 of them have left at this point. Which I don't even know what that means. But the first thing is we worked
7?
on. Yeah.
Do we know their names? Because I would like to thank them individually.
Jurassic Park 3, we worked on this, and I want you to confirm something, which I think you confirmed for me, but I can't remember. Is it true that there was a contest while we were filming to come up with a plausible ending to the movie?
It wouldn't surprise me, and I remember Shelley talking about this.
So it was a thing.
I think
remember
it was a thing.
And I was only there for like 4 weeks or something like that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Well, mentally.
Yeah.
I believe there was, because I think even the actors got involved in that. But that was like my first like big
blockbuster
dinosaur movie, and so I was kind of more into what the hell we were doing, which I normally am anyway. All that peripheral stuff I don't really get, but I do think
I vaguely remember this.
That you were right. I mean, I know that they had like a year and a half. It's like the same story.
You can't come up with an ending to a movie in a year and a half. I mean,
no, especially when you're getting great free lunches and great dinners.
Yeah. No, you gotta,
and you're going through writers and paying them all millions of dollars.
Yeah.
You've already spent like $20 million just on the writers.
You wanted an ending?
And it's like a week before, we're going to change the story. But in the meantime, because we have the ride at Universal, we have to
make another movie,
get this released at this date. And right now we have to start shooting. So you guys are going to Hawaii without a finished script.
Yeah.
And we were in Hawaii for a week without eating lunch one time.
Oh,
the most meal penalties I've ever had, flying from every island.
Unbelievable.
Working forever,
oh.
Short turnarounds, forced turnarounds.
Yeah.
We came back from Hawaii and it was like, okay, now we're going to be on stage for 3 months.
Good Lord. That's when I joined you guys. But
it was an amusement park ride.
That was an interesting one. The other thing, this is actually more of a statement, but I was looking through your IMDb and I saved this for the end. I like the fact that you have been an operator long enough that there is movie of the week, first of all. And the one that I liked was Everybody's Baby, the Jessica McClure story, who I do remember Jessica McClure.
I know,
actually.
very popular.
But it was back when all the movies of the week had a statement and then the blah 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 story, and they're like 3 or 4 of them on your there are 3 or 4 of them on your IMDb. It's great. And so all right, so my final thing is
before you say your final thing.
Yes, well, yeah.
That was also the time of non-union, which scared the union.
Yes,
of
those movies of the week
were non-union, and we could do like 4 or 5 of those, because it'd be like a month.
Yeah,
You'd have like a
it's
month off.
Exactly.
You do another one. So
Yep.
you do like 5 or 6 a year. And you'd learn, you'd have to go fast, and you would just, it was a great
It was a teaching
training ground
Yeah.
that went into like the 90s. I think, when did the movie of the weeks end? Like the late 90s,
It seems
mid 90s?
like mid to late 90s or something like that, but they were bread and butter for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember I worked on
It's great for
I don't know
non-union.
how many Daniel Steele novels I
Yeah.
worked on, like
Yeah.
Vietnam like love stories or something like that. Yeah. But those were great. That and also Corman. Did you ever do Corman?
I never did Corman.
I did 2 Cormans.
I think Corman was, I guess it still was kind of around. It just was a different.
Well, it became
different
something
path.
else. It became like Concord or something like that.
It was also bigger when I was like in the late 70s, early 80s.
When you were assistant editing.
When I still was in post-production and then production, and
Yeah.
I wasn't really into like feature
I
production.
did 2 shows there,
Yeah.
and it was just came and went as Steadicam operator. It was a different world. So my final question for you, before actually my final question about operating. So young operator, what advice do you give them? Someone who's trying to like move up, they have some experience, but they're trying to get to where Don Devine is as an A camera operator. Like what do they work on? What tips do you like?
God, that's really a hard one.
I
I could give the
know, it's not fair.
smartass one, which I won't do because that's been done 1,000 times. There's actually a lot of smartass.
No,
ones.
there's a ton of them.
Well, the main one is
let
me see if I can talk you out of it.
Yeah.
I have to say the most important thing, and I still have this feeling, is just the love of the game.
Yeah.
I really think that will carry you on. Be a good person. Be patient. Most of the people who are going to hire you will remember you by your demeanor, not by how good you are technically. A perfect example.
We're both still here.
Yes.
I'm a really nice person.
But I think that people don't really know what we do.
I don't disagree with you. Yeah. No, that's good.
And I think that's okay. They don't need to know. And I think that's what's important on set when we're working, to not go, guys, this is a really hard shot.
Yeah.
I need everybody to be quiet here and pay attention.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
we have to internalize it and just go, this is a really hard shot.
Yeah.
I wish everybody shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Beep up.
Yeah.
And you just have to do it because that's your job. And when everybody sees that you're handling that,
Drive the bus. Yeah.
they go, he was a real nice guy.
Yeah.
They don't really care. Oh my God, he nailed those, really hard shots. They don't even know what the hard shots were.
They don't.
And which is another thing that I strive to tell people is nobody should know whether this is the hardest shot you've ever done or the easiest shot you've ever done.
Yeah.
Don't even let the actors know unless they have the experience. They know if they have the experience, and they shouldn't know.
Yeah.
I don't want them to change their performance to make my job easier.
Yeah.
I want them to do what they're doing, and we'll figure it out. We'll make it work, just by pushing forward, and succeeding. It's just, I just don't want that feeling of, when an assistant comes in and goes, this is a really hard shot. It's like, I started when it was quiet time in the camera department, and it's like, yes, I know that. And you know that. They don't need to know that.
And also that's why you're here.
Absolutely.
Right?
And you know what? You do the best you can under the circumstances.
Yep.
That's the phrase I must have said 1 billion times in my career.
Mm-hmm.
You do the best you can under the circumstances. Because you can do the best thing at the rental house. You can do the best move on the wheels in there. Same way those technicians, all those guys are fantastic in the rental house. And then they come out in the field and they go, it's too windy.
Yeah.
What do you mean it's going to rain? It's all this like panic. And it's like, yeah, that's when you have to perform in the real world.
Yep.
And you can only do the best you can under the circumstances. Yeah. Yes, if it wasn't raining, it might be a little easier. But let's just say it's a little more challenging, and let's see how we do. Let's try one. I'm all for trying one. That's pretty much what it boils down to. Let's try one. Let's see what our problems are going to be.
Hey there, everyone. I'm sorry that went a little long, but honestly, Don and I just had such a great time talking. He is such a phenomenal individual, an incredible operator, an incredible artist, and he just has so much to offer. It's really quite incredible. And yeah, went a little long, but hopefully you enjoyed it. The website's up at theop.io. Please check it out. Please like the podcast and share us if that was the case. And of course, we're on Instagram at theop.io also. If you have any ideas for guests, you can always reach out through the website and shoot them our way. We'll see what we can do. And we'll be back soon with another episode for you. Thanks so much.